Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm terrified. Everything seems to be working except for that little blurb with the stream starting soon screen. Everything looks like it's working. I'm scared. It's dark and I'm alone. So, help.
Not alone.
Send help. Huh? Well, you guys are here, but you're
You have
wherever
an
you're at.
intrepid band of adventurers here, sir. We will destroy the entire world to keep it safe.
Okay. Wow. So we went there early, ladies and gentlemen.
Cheers, motherfucker.
We will burn the world to keep it pure. Do you understand us? But anyway, hi guys, welcome to Dinner and a Game. It is Wednesday, and Wednesday means it's time for our Kingdoms of Mist D&D 5e homebrew campaign. And in order to delve into this level of madness, I had to pull together a special crew. And here is my amazing special crew. Hi guys, how have you been this week?
Yeah, RJ.
I think that sums it up, RJ.
Yeah.
It's been one of those weeks so far.
Yeah.
It's not just one bird. There's fucking two
both.
of them.
It's both.
So,
bird. The bird is the word.
It is definitely the word. At the very least, it is the symbol for this week. There you go. So, but anyway, tonight we're playing D&D 5e. It's a homebrew campaign called Kingdoms of Mist. It's a game that I created because I wanted to be able to bring Treasure Planet to life in an RPG, but I didn't want to base it on fantasy. I wanted us to be able to fly in space with magic, and Spelljammer hasn't been released yet, so here we go. I did it, and here it is. But, all that being said, the crew has been drawn into quite a bit of, well, as RJ loves to say, shenanigans, and these have been kind of wild and out there. The city that they were in, the capital city of the planet, and called Ayla, was invaded by extraplanar creatures, which has never ever happened before because this is a very new world and it doesn't have that much contact with the other planes because the creator of this world, the Mist Mother, cut off contact to the other planes, not completely. But she made it very difficult for anything from the other planes to interact here. Now, seemingly, the city of Ayla, on the capital in the planet of Valtras, has been taken over by extraplanar beings who have turned it into a war zone. So
They can have it.
They can have it. So our heroes,
Not completely cut off, apparently.
but our heroes have actually gotten a band of civilians out of the city. They managed to smuggle them out by taking them out through a magical portal. And they basically took them out into the countryside and actually almost about 1,000 miles from where they were in an instant.
Unintentionally.
And they got them to safety, so they thought. The characters went out to a hunting lodge. They were magically transported into the basement of that hunting lodge. They discovered they were in Utopia's, one of our characters' family's hunting lodge, which is up in the mountains. And they were getting everything organized. They were hunting. They were making sure they had enough. They were intending on staying here for a while when the hunting lodge was attacked by a band of trolls. The heroes naturally dispatched the band of trolls, but it made everyone else in the hunting lodge, who were city folk and not used to this type of thing, very nervous, and they wanted to go to town. So the heroes' crew escorted them to the nearest town, which is called Trask. And they went to town. They were questioned at the gate. The guards at the gate found out who they were, found out where they came from, and put them up in a hotel immediately, and told them that the lord of the city would want to speak to them about how things stand. The characters went and did various things within the city. Our two orc brothers went and tried to, for the most part, help the people of the city by distributing food. And they discovered there was a large group of refugees who had been put up in a kind of a tent city in a park. And they went there and they were helping them. They had a huge haunch of elk, and they were helping them. They cook that and serve it to the people. They discovered a lot of things about the nature of who was running that shelter, which seemed to be a new religious sect worshiping someone called the Dark Mother, and who seemed to be another aspect of the Mist Mother. And basically, they were, towards the end of that day, they were all told that they were going to be asked to go to dinner with the Lord, and the Lord was providing them with suitable attire. And at this point, they only had... At this point, they are all kind of getting back together, and they had been informed about some of them have been informed for the first time about the dinner, and the others were pretty much going about the rest of their day. Now, speaking of the others, Milagros, you amazing person, how are you today?
I'm pretty good.
And who are you going to be playing?
I didn't go to any classes because I had a doctor's appointment, and I thought it was going to be brief, and it ended up being 4 hours. But I got a lot of stuff done, and got to know. I've been at an adolescent clinic for like ages, and now I'm finally getting to the like actual adult doctors because I'm 22 and have to do a lot of like, hey, what's your deal? Okay, now explain that same thing to this person. Okay, now explain that to this person. And I'm a case study at the hospital that I've been going to because stuff. And so I had to, re-explain that to a whole bunch of new people. But I'm optimistic. It was nice. I didn't have any like, oh, you have this problem? Well, maybe if you lost weight.
Oh, God.
Yeah, love that. Totally haven't heard that 4,000 times. But yeah, so a pretty chill day, all things considered, because
Good.
I just didn't get to go to class. So,
well, you deserved a chill day.
Yes, because we're getting towards finals now, and I'm not ready.
So here's a question for you.
Yeah.
How chill is Utopia right now?
Oh, she's panicking. It's full gay panic. 100% gay panic. There are so many rules that she grew up learning about, like how official courtship works, and none of those apply right now. So she doesn't even have like a script to work off of. She's just winging it.
There is no ball. There's no quinceañera happening for this one. This is
she just met a person like normally. Well, sort of.
Out in the wild.
Normally in a possible apocalypse. You don't know.
Yeah, out in the wild. Yeah, that's a better way to put it. Just, there was no arrangement, no exchanging of letters for weeks, no vetting, no nothing. Just, what the fuck? So she's panicking. It's great.
Yeah,
Here for it. I'm here for it.
I'm so excited. This is what I've been waiting for.
Well, hopefully it'll be fun and you will enjoy yourself, and it will not bring too many panics. More than it already has.
I'm here for my daughter getting the romance arc.
We want gay panic. That's a good panic.
Good panic.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, speaking of helping people deal with their panics, Sphinx!
Hey.
Who are you playing tonight, sir?
Tonight I am playing Valestein O'Call, a Kalishtar bard/sorcerer.
Gotcha. And
Yes.
how is Val handling this situation? I mean, chaos. Oh, dating!
Chaos. I adopt a daughter. My daughter now is absolutely crushing on this chick. So I'm like, all right, here we go. It's time. This is I know this game. Here we go. I got you.
Stay calm and repeat after me.
It's like, just ask the girl out, kiss the girl. I'm in the background. There you see her. I am being my daughter's wingman today.
Please, because she has no idea what she's doing.
Excellent, and that should go perfectly well.
Oh yeah.
Nothing chaotic will come out of that. But speaking of chaotic, Rome, RJ, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing better than he is at the moment.
Aww. You okay, Rome?
Oh, he's having technical
Computer
difficulties. Fucking
Hey!
featured, man. We bring them with us.
You know what? Normally it's me. Knock on wood, kicking the
I
wall.
mean, I can't connect to Foundry, so I can still kind of blame it on you.
My Foundry is up and running. Do you need you need me to send you the
No, I
login
haven't.
again?
I was
Invitation?
having a problem yesterday too, so
Oh,
He's having issues.
got it.
His computer is laughing at him and flipping him off, and he doesn't know why. Yikes!
Because it's
But
me.
I am RJ. I play Groundhog. That is Rome. That plays Sugash. We fed a bunch of people. We made people happy, and probably surprised the hell out of most people when we chose to do that.
I mean, I don't know what their expectations would be, but you definitely set the bar high because you kind of turned them up on their ear there. You know what I mean?
I mean, most people see two giant ass orcs walk into a village like it's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be bad.
Don't make eye contact.
Don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact.
Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me.
Instead, we have a feast.
Yep.
It was a great feast too.
Put
Right.
things together
I
and
got a
made things
fucking
happen, man.
distraction. Hey, got to talk to people and get enlightened.
Yeah.
There were
I mean,
fucking dark gods and shit. Like,
Dark
it was an
gods.
interesting session.
Yeah. Sugash got to have a conversation with a really cool old lady.
That was
Oh,
me.
come on.
Oh, that was Grandpa. Sorry, I get you two confused. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You're
no,
good.
Grandpa talked to the sweet old lady. Sugash was dealing with Sugash was sleeping.
Sleeping.
Um, He was sleeping, but
Here's the hilarious part of that conversation. I never asked her name, and I addressed her as matron.
yeah, I noticed that.
That is a very, very high term of respect coming from Grandpa.
Hell yeah.
Grandpa
Pardon
drinks
the
his
world
respect
burning
women
behind me
juice.
of the fucking sirens.
It's the world. You can't get away from it. Yep.
I mean, you can, but
Yeah, you can, but it also means you're probably not going to be able to stream anymore. So,
one of these years,
what was that, Rum?
I don't.
I don't know. Oh, I don't know.
his brain is like at the moment.
His brain is in problem solving mode. And normally, Rob would be joining us, but he is not feeling well. So, Rob, please feel better. We will see you next time. Don't worry about a thing. We love you, and we will see you when you're all better. All right?
We will make sure Ao does not get yeeted off a building.
Yeah.
Well, Aom's just going to skip dinner. How's that? Aom's going to get sick.
Oh.
He's going to have a tummy ache. He's going to skip
Poor
dinner.
baby.
Too much excitement. Too much excitement for AO.
No, wait, no, he has to recover. He has to recover from what happened at the very end with Sugash.
Oh yeah.
He has to go lie down. He needs
Just
to
go lie down. All right,
I wasn't
excellent.
ready. I wasn't ready.
Somebody-
You said what? He
Talk
said
about
what? What did he
panic.
say? He said what? What? So anyway, let's go ahead and dive into Kingdoms of Mist, ladies and gentlemen. So when we left off, you guys were kind of, well, aside from the very end and the stunning events at the very end, you guys were kind of, you were summoned to dinner. You were told you had a little bit more time, but you're basically going to be going to dinner in a few hours. During that period, that's when, well, before that period that where you actually notified, you kind of went off to your own things, and you are now regrouped, and Grandpa and Sugash have been informed that everyone's going to dinner. And so, what are the rest of you guys? What are you guys doing now? I mean, Utopia, you and Camille have gotten properly attired. Valentine, you're also properly attired. Aom has gotten attired. Grandpa, you and Sugash didn't care.
I went and washed up in the river.
You did.
I went,
You did.
That's right.
I went and cleaned up and took a fucking bath
In the
in
ice cold
in
mountain
the
river.
ice cold, refreshing river. After everything that's gone on, Grandpa just kind of needed a moment to freeze and clear his fucking thoughts.
You mean he purified his body in the waters of Lake Minnetonka?
There is no warm
I had
fucking
to.
thing.
I had to do it. I had to do it.
and we just totally dated ourselves. That's all.
Oh
there
yeah, I
is
have
to
no
that.
idea what any of those words were.
There is a movie called Purple Rain.
Yes.
And
I
in
know
which
the Prince song.
and it's a movie by Prince is in the movie.
Oh,
It's his movie, yeah.
It's his movie, yeah. And in the
that
scene,
song is from that movie.
since you're probably going to see it, and there's a scene where he's kind of romancing this one girl, and he talks about how people join his band, and he says they have to go cleanse themselves in the. He's riding with her on a motorcycle, and they're parked by this lake, and he says they have to purify themselves in the ice cold waters of Lake Minnetonka. And she kind of looks at him, and she smiles, and it's cold. They're wearing jackets. It's cold, and she just starts peeling off her clothes, and she dives into the lake. She comes out of the lake. And she puts on her jacket. She's freezing. There's a little steam coming off of her, and she puts a jacket on her, and she's like, "How is that?" And he's like, "That's not Lake Minnetonka." And actually, I think he says, "That's amazing, but that's not Lake Minnetonka."
So good to
Because he watches her. She like makes a show of stripping down and running for the lake, and he doesn't stop her at all.
oh wow.
it's real good. It's real good.
All right, so enough about Prince. Although there can never be enough about Prince. Do you get it, Rome? You okay? All right, cool. All right, so you guys were, like I said, preparing for the feast with Lord Trask. Well, not the feast, for the dinner with Lord Trask. And you know that Lord Trask is inviting you to this because he needs information about what's happening and what has happened. So I don't know if you guys, since you have a few moments together to discuss it, if you guys want to talk about that, or if you guys just want to get ready to go to the dinner.
I love how everybody wants to come to us and ask us about information that we do not have.
Yeah.
How did this happen? What happened? How did this happen? We were teleported 3 months forward. How are we supposed to know what happened? I do not understand these people.
You're absolutely right. But look, they're giving this. It's gonna be a meal. It's free. We don't have to pay for it.
Cooked for like 50 people.
I know, and we get to eat again with less work.
Where is the joy in that?
I mean, is there joy in working?
Yes, there can be. Yes, absolutely. But there's also joy in enjoying a free meal at someone else's expense. Trust me, having been penniless for some time, being a penniless artist, yes, it is a fine thing.
So I mean,
Formerly penniless.
Oh, of course, formerly. So we know what happened while we were there.
Yes.
Nothing about the 3 months, though.
Not really, no.
What's going on?
Yeah, the 3 months.
You've gotten very little. You managed to get very little information about the 3 months because it was basically chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've only spoken with a few individuals. Like, you didn't even really get a long chance to speak with your father's the gentleman who lost his arm.
The seneschal.
Seneschal. Your father's seneschal.
Isn't even her father.
What?
She was raised by her uncle, remember?
Yeah, we're not.
Well,
We're
yeah.
not even gonna deal with that.
Wasn't even her father. She
We're
never
not
met
even.
her
We're not even
father.
gonna deal with that.
She hasn't had time to process that.
She hasn't told us anything. Like,
There's all this trauma just stacking up on top of Utopia. And she hasn't.
what? I'll leave all my emotions over here, and then one day I'll die.
And someday I'll die, and I won't have to deal with any of them. Unfortunately, this is a fantasy D&D game, so that could happen.
Very well could happen.
So,
Oh boy.
but yeah, so are you guys going to continue to discuss this? Go ahead. My apologies.
I say at the very least we tell them what happened from our perspective. I mean, where's the harm in that?
Well, I mean, Camille was also there for she was there for the 3 months. I don't know.
She's kind of sitting on the couch, and she looks up at you, and she's, 3 months of running and screaming and hiding.
Yeah.
And then running, and then
we have.
and then running quietly and hiding.
Yeah, but that's something. I mean, we weren't even there for that.
Yeah, it's a worthwhile perspective at the very least.
Be thankful that you weren't. But I will say whatever I need to say to help. I mean, I'll tell whatever stories they need me to tell.
And I will play some soothing music to aid in the storytelling. And I pull out my lute. There you see her.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay.
Are you sure? Because I give Utopia a very, very pointed look. Like I got you. I got.
Oh no, it's
You're all like
fine.
you're all like playing, and Utopia's getting all nervous, and you look over, and Camille's kind of just sitting there. She's got one eyebrow cocked, and she's staring at you. Really?
At me?
Yeah.
And I just give like a wide anything is possible.
And she finally she's looking, and she finally just breaks, and she blushes, and she looks away.
I put my loot back. It's like bringing this just in case.
All right.
And I'll pet Inari, and I'll send Inari off to hang out with the children because I'm sure that they could use a good time and the distraction.
And Ari's like, if you send me back there, I'm going to have to leave to regenerate to get my fur back.
Oh my god.
You know what? Good point. Pocket dimension.
She's like, you left me before she disappears. All you hear is an angry snarl in your head. You left me with them all day.
Sorry.
You have far too many voices in your head.
Yeah, here's what, like 3 now?
Yeah. Well, speaking of, I will like poke at my quarry at the other Val. It's like, hey, you all right in there?
Yeah, it's better.
Better is always nice.
So that's something. We'll
hopefully it's going to give some help and perhaps get some. So that could be nice as well. Maybe.
Always nice to receive any type of help.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how this night goes.
Yeah.
But also, and like my inside voice definitely becomes kind of like a very conspiratorial whisper at this point. Also, we gotta help our girl. Like she's like, you see this, right? You see this. Like somebody's gonna be happy today. Somebody's gotta get happy.
Bro, I cannot do this right now.
She kind of
y'all don't hear any of this.
Yeah,
I know.
She kind of like you can literally in your mind hear a foot tapping, and you just hear this like, I don't know what your experiences were, but some people need to learn to have these experiences on their own for them to be valued.
Sure. Yes.
I sense the butt, and I'll stop you now.
How about this? I will stay ready just in case I am needed. I will not interfere unless it is necessary.
Okay, and I will monitor you, and I will put a rein on it if you're trying to interfere where it may feel like it's necessary, but you may be too close to the subject.
Sure. Okay. All right. That's fair.
Just don't don't make me break out the brain taser.
Please don't. You did that one. I don't like it. I don't like it.
She's like, make sure everyone stays safe.
I will, of course.
So, What about the rest? What about the rest of you? Rome is going to be back in just a moment. He is having to reset a router. Huzzah! Because tech. Because tech is tech, ladies and gentlemen. It's really fun, especially when you're trying to run a show on the internet. Tech is the best.
Tech is the best.
All right,
and it acts like the best, even though it's not.
And we work in tech, so we know this.
Yes, we do.
Have you turned yourself off and back on again?
Oh, so many times. Oh, wait, that's not what we're talking about.
I'm just stalling, actually.
I mean, Utopia is just standing very awkwardly close to the couch that Camilla's sitting in.
You're what now?
She's just like Camilla's is seated, right?
Yeah.
And Utopia's standing like right up against, like with her leg against the armrest of that seat.
And where are you looking? Like, are you looking at her, or are you just...
She keeps like...
Utopia sorry. Camilla's kind of sitting there, and at first she's just kind of like, because, you know, she was decidedly looking away from Val. So she was taken to picking at the little, you know, the half coat that she has, and like picking lint out of it and looking at it and pulling it and lining it and getting straight, and she sees you very nervous, and then in the middle of it she kind of stops and she says, "I'm going to the first dinner or function or anything that I've ever been to where I wasn't serving dishes at the table. Let's just get through tonight, and then, you know, we can have a real sit down. We can go to dinner and have a nice conversation.
Okay.
But let's look at this not as that. I wouldn't want this to be anything like that. I think this we need to make sure is all about keeping everyone okay."
Okay. That's perfect.
Val will nod too, but like very, very subtly to the side, just see him.
You feel a little tingle in the back of your brain.
Like, hey, I'm not doing
Nothing.
I'm just excited.
I'm just excited. All right, so you guys are sitting, sit there for another 10, 15 minutes, just kind of making idle chit chat, and, you know, basically just like trying to, you know, you're waiting because you're supposed to be summoned, and the summons hasn't come yet. Right about where where, you know, you're starting to get annoying. A knock comes at the door, and who's going to open it? Actually, Camille instantly gets up and goes over to open it.
No, night off. I'll get up and open the door. Yes.
It's that same guard who was there earlier, and he says, "Oh, I'm here. I have the carriage. We're here to take you up to the manor house."
Fantastic. And I will open the door wider and hold it open for my companions after all of you.
And he kind of like, as you each come out, like he sees you all dressed up. He sees Camille all dressed up. He sees Utopia all dressed up. Grandpa, you come through the doorway, and he kind of looks at you, and he's like, "Weren't you supposed to? Didn't you get the?"
No.
I'm sure everything will be fine.
They missed it. It's fine. They were out doing very good things for the people, and it was fantastic and wonderful. And that they are now clothed in good feelings and wonderful.
Trust me. We know we have a whole quarter of an elk on the spit right now.
Ah, nice.
You're muted.
I gave the guards food too.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's real good. Yeah.
He's the group's PR man. He just spreads food around when you come to town.
Honestly.
It's probably gonna go bad. And if I have the ability to help fucking people, like regardless of the fact that they're fucking puny humans.
Puny.
I'm gonna, help people.
That's the way it works, isn't it?
I might be, a fucking blood-hungry hunter, but at the end of the day, like, I'm still a fucking person.
He is a person clothed in goodwill and
I am wearing
wonderful
armor, Val.
Yes, no, it's a metaphor.
Literally a dragon bone slung across my shoulders.
A big one.
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. like I'm trying to. Never mind.
I'm
Never
getting the
mind.
distinct impression that it is not a simile.
It is not.
All right, so you guys head
Are you
out.
speaking a different language?
Yes.
As opposed to you, I am. Yes.
Just talk straight.
Don't talk in circles.
Talk like
I
a
was trying to
beehive.
say. I was trying to say very, very nice things about you, so that no one looks twice at the fact that you are not dressed up in finery.
Let them look.
Okay.
I wear my scars and my armor proudly.
Okay. Well said. Well said. I will stop speaking for you, as clearly that was not working out very well. And yes,
Grandpa kind of pats Val on the shoulder as he walks past.
So, you guys all head downstairs. When you get outside, you see that there is a very large, very ornate coach waiting for you. It looks like it could probably hold about probably a half dozen people inside easily.
That's a big coach.
Yeah,
Is the palace not directly across the river?
it's right across the river. Oh, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the family.
Who that?
I got trying to look. I didn't see it. Oh, hang on a second. I know what it is.
D&D doesn't die.
Oh,
I
hey!
know
Welcome to the show. Thank you very much for the follow. Back to where we were. We have, so you guys are sitting out there, and he says, the guard says, yes, it is just across the river, but we do have to cross via bridge, which means we're going to have to go down 4 blocks, cross the bridge, and then come back up. So it's defensive. We have the different wards in the city divided up into different sections, and each one is protected by a body of water that has to be crossed. And the bridges can be easily removed if needed.
In 2 minutes in the channel, it gets attacked by Dagbot. Your bots are assholes, dude.
Ha! Spamming cops. I even increased the cap limit on Dagbot. Dagbot is a bastard. That's why we got rid of him in the first place. But Dagbot. But normally he's very giving in this. I even put it at 75 characters for caps. But I'll just do this.
Smiley face.
Huh?
So there must have been a lot of smiley.
A lot of smiley face. Well, it was all caps is what it said. It was timed out for. Dagbot timed out for 60 seconds. You'll be back in a second. I'm sorry. D&D denial. I apologize. I'll put it for 150. And 1.
And
There.
one.
I fixed it. And 1. Because it has to have a minimum too.
What?
It needs to be 9,208. Not well. That's not. I don't know how much it is. That's a lot. Yeah. They have a mind. They don't have a mind of their own. Miss Liliana Vase.
9,284,728,929.
Dagbot has always been why we can't have nice things. But Nightbot was getting weird and not answering command cues, so I switched back to Streamlabs, and that's what Dagbot is. But anyway, back to the game. Sorry about the distraction. So you have like I said, he said that it's a defensive situation. We can fall back to different points, and then we can take down the bridges and make it harder for anyone to get to us. And he says, and of course, the capital is the second line of defense as our Lord Trask declared that he would never put himself out of range of defending his people. So
That's fair. I should make a point of stating that I am coming with my sword as well, but I have cleaned it up and polished it and everything, so it looks nice with my outfit. Mostly because I just want to, like, in the whole like idea of like trying to keep everyone safe. I don't want any surprises. I don't like surprises.
So he says that is, he doesn't even give a second look to the blade. I'm assuming that Grandpa and Sugash don't abandon their weapons at all. They're taking them with them as well, correct?
Of course.
I don't usually carry I have a mace on me somewhere.
He is his own weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just boop, and you turn to fucking pudding, like
nasty, smelly, rotted pudding.
Delicious.
So he kind of like he does, but he doesn't even pay attention to the fact that it doesn't seem to be bothered with the fact that you're bringing arms into the carriage for this meeting with Lord Trask.
I do not climb into the carriage.
Okay. What are you doing?
I mean, I'm gonna walk alongside the carriage.
You sure you don't want to sit in the carriage?
You're gonna have to run.
We're probably going to be going fairly fast.
It's not drawn by camels. The horses move much faster than humans at walking speed.
I am not human.
You have a base movement of 30. A horse has a base movement of 60.
Not in combat. We can.
You're not in combat. You don't get to use the Orky charge to chase the horses.
Use aggressive.
Use aggressive. You'll be pouring sweat by the time you get to the castle.
They're orcs. They don't care.
The horses don't care. And there's there's four of them, so they're cheating.
Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna confine myself in a tiny little box.
There is a gentleman who's
tiny.
sitting on the back of the carriage. You could just get up there.
You get on the back of the carriage and get on top of the carriage, even.
The guard's kind of looking at you as everyone's. Does everyone else get into the carriage?
yeah, Utopia gets in right away.
Okay.
I'll sit on the back of it.
Sugas just climbs up onto the back bench seat and the buggy seat, and the guy in the back of the seat, so he kind of like looks at you as you're climbing up, and he just starts sliding over. He's holding a crossbow, and he's like sliding over, and you sit down, and he's like, "Good evening, sir."
Look, you can always like stand on top of the thing and do like carriage surfing. There's a wonderful story that I read a very long time ago called Teen Wolf. And they did that, and it was very, very humorous. And I could play you some music while we run. It'd be great.
The little gentleman's like, we have time if the gentleman really insists. He can walk. All he has said, you can see the building. He just walks down to the bridge, crosses, and comes back. It's 8 blocks. We're not required to force you to get into the carriage.
Or you could just meet us there.
Because you're like the only one standing outside the carriage now.
Yeah.
I'll stay outside the carriage.
Okay.
All right. I'm getting in the carriage then.
Okay, in the carriage.
I'm giving up the argument.
The soldier kind of looks at you and he says, "Very good, sir." And he climbs up on the bench beside the driver. He kind of picks up a crossbow that was leaned up against the bench as he climbs up there, and he sits down and he looks down at you, Grandpa, and kind of says, "We're going now."
I will keep pace with the carriage.
I'll poke my head out. See you there, buddy.
You look out, and he's keeping pace with the carriage. It seems to be some effort, but he's keeping pace with the carriage.
All right.
And because the horses aren't being driven, they're just like going at their normal trot. So that you head down the street, cut across the bridge. Each one of the tributaries that this has been built into the city is obviously been laid out and cut, and the channels are lined with stones. so that there cannot be anything that can, there won't be any debris piling up, and the water will continue to flow through the city. The water is mountain stream water, and it's incredibly clear, so you can see all the way to the bottom. But each channel is about 25 feet wide, and you can see the water is moving through very, very swiftly, and the water itself is about 10 to 12 feet deep. So it would be a very difficult thing to ford this, because it's a uniform depth the entire way through the city. And it is a straight channel going through the city at a high flow of water going through the city. You can see at the end of the channel what they call the break, which is where the original river comes into the break, which is a huge bowl or basin that was apparently cut out of stone somehow under the river, that the river spills into and fills, and then that flows into the 3 separate tributaries. Because remember, there's 3 tributaries. There's one that goes on between what would be the lowest level of the city, because it goes slightly up an incline up the side of the mountain. And then there's the one that divides this portion of the city from where the Lord's Palace is and the civil offices are, and where the military barracks are, etc., etc. And then there's a last segment of river that on the highest tier that divides out where the more higher echelon members of the city live. That's where all the estates and the mansions are above that, and that can look down the city. And then that also is where the wall segment goes around the city, closing the back half. But like I said, the city is going up kind of up the base side of a mountain, and so at that point it also the landscape there is much, it goes from a gentle slope of like 18 degrees that the city is built on to almost a 40 to 50 degree slope going up the side of the mountain at that point. And so that is and that overlooks the city coming down. And so right now you're headed into the central portion of the city, which is that's the area where the Lord's Manor is, the civil offices are, and the Skyport is on this one as well. And so you're riding as you come up over the bridge, and you're coming back up towards the Lord's Manse. As you come up, the mansion is on like I said, there's that central square that houses the Skyport, the civil offices, and the Lord's Manse. And technically, it houses one other building, but no one's even described that building to you or talked about it. And because the Skyport is kind of in the center, and on the northern face of that square, there is a low black stone obelisk. It's about 20 feet tall, but it has one entrance and one exit on the northern face of it that you can see. And it has no other visible access points, and it looks to be, if as you're riding up to it, to the square, it looks to be, if your vision is not betraying you, it looks to be a solid piece of carved stone.
I will poke my head out of the window at the driver, or is one of the guards inside with us talking about all the buildings and stuff?
No, the guard's not talking about all the buildings. These are just, you were told the other day about, the Lord's Manse, the civil buildings, which are on the other side of the square, and then you were told about the Skyport, which is in the center. Right. And then on the northern face of this square is that flat, low black building that takes up the northern side of the block.
Okay, then I will poke my head out of the carriage and hey, what's that building there? The stone thing.
That's the
what's that about?
That's the oubliette.
Oubliette.
That's
what do you do there?
Prisoners are held there until they die or they complete their sentences.
Ah, that sounds okay. All right, that is what that is then. Why is it carved of one? It looks like it's carved made of one solid piece of whatever stone that is. Why is that? It
is a substance that is I wouldn't say it's unknown to us, except it's been there for so long. I'm surprised you haven't heard of it. It's basically it looks like onyx to me, but it doesn't have those weird ridges. It's almost perfectly smooth.
Interesting.
But it is honestly, it blocks most magic.
That's good to know.
Casters who go into the oubliette find their ability to utilize magics negated. That also means that anyone who tries to use healing magics inside the oubliette cannot do so either.
That's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate for those inside the oubliette.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yes. So, and
I imagine one must have to commit quite the crime in order to end up there.
I mean, there's the criminals who live in the or sentenced to the oubliette are not there because they are good people. They are murderers. They are the worst of the worst.
Okay, right. So, and I will kind of glance back at the inside of the carriage and then back at the guards. So, what I'm hearing is we should never ever go in there, or never find ourselves in there.
I would hope not. I do not think that any of you would ever do anything. Well, I don't know you, but you've proven to be very, very generous and kind people. I don't think that there's any way to make that situation ever come to pass.
As do I, but I've been wrong and surprised before.
Well, I hope you're not trying to do any foreshadowing, because that would just make me feel really, really bad.
I am definitely not trying to do any foreshadowing. How about this? I will state right here and now, for the record, whatever record there is, that I and my crew will do everything within our power to never end up there, because we are, in fact, good people.
Hear that? We have witnesses. He kind of chuckles and he says, all right. He's kind of like nods, we're here. And as you're coming up the street that you can see the LB on, you take a right in front of the square, and you're pulling up right in front of the Trask Manor. The Trask Manor looks like a large a large German steep-deck castle. Do you know what that looks like? It's the ones that have the very narrow towers, and it's got a lot of very delicate masonry work, to where there's flying buttresses that look like way too thin to even hold a person's weight. And there's all this filigree and decoration. There's these grand carvings of gargoyles on the exterior. It is a very gorgeous building. But, you know, it's more of a castle for looks. It doesn't really hold up as a fortress.
Sure.
But as you pull up, what is this? The guards sit there and they say, they snap to attention in front of the door, and one of the guards walks down and he opens up the carriage for you. And he stands there, and he's standing very proper, and he's standing behind the door, holding the door open for you. Each one of the guards carries a single halberd. They're in gray and black tabards. It's like, looks like it was, it's gray edge creased and then black on the middle. And inside the tabard is that same symbol that you saw emblazoned everywhere, which is those weighted scales. And so that's on the center of the tabard. And there is the weighted scales that have, the one scale that's way heavier than the other and in balance. And but there's nothing in the scales to represent what's causing the imbalance. And so they kind of like, he waits for you all to get out. And Grandpa, you kept right up with the carriage, so because like I said, the horses weren't pushed, so
nice. I'll get out, and I will lend a hand to Utopia to help her out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Camille kind of
Hop down.
You hop down. Camille kind of climbs out of the carriage.
I will lend a hand to help her out as well.
Oh. Okay. Excellent. And she kind of leans over into you, and she says, "Next time, let me help her out of the carriage."
Oh, sorry.
I know you're trying to help and all, but...
Sorry. I'm very new at this being a dad.
She's like, "Wingman? No."
Never mind. Well, I'll explain later.
So the guards escort you in. You enter the through the main doors, set of obviously gorgeous, huge oaken doors that have been heavily reinforced with bands of steel and metal studs throughout. They swing open, and they allow you come into the main gallery, which is a huge double staircase that curves up to the second floor. The floor is just this pure white marble, very little veining in it at all. And it opens up into a large archway that you can see goes back into the castle proper. And there's a long hallway that goes down from the main entryway straight ahead. And then there's two smaller hallways that go off to each side. The long hallway straight ahead of you goes into what looks to be an already set dinner table in front of a huge roaring fire that's on the back wall. And you can see that there's already servants there standing around waiting or finishing up the last setups for dinner itself. As you come in that door, at the top of the stairs, coming out of the archway at the top of the stairs, a large man comes walking out and puts his hands on the rails. And he looks down at you and he says, "The heroes of Ayla, you are welcome in my home." He says, "I trust that you have rested well and that this is not too much of a demand." He is a tall man, human, but very, very handsome. He looks to be in his 50s, but he is still very thick and hewn with muscle. It's starting to go to a little to fat around the middle. He's lived a pretty cushy life, but it's obvious that he was a man of action for most of his life. He has one very pronounced scar that takes up most of his right cheek, and it looks like there was some kind of fairly grievous wound. His beard grows in, except in that area, and he's got light sandy blonde hair. He's got brown eyes. And he is, like I said, he's about 6'2". He's nowhere near the towers that we have in this party, but he's a very large, strong, robust-looking man in his later years. And he's like, "Allow me to introduce myself for those who do not know. I am Leonin Trask. It is Lord Trask, but for tonight, Leonin. We are friends this evening. You are going to provide me with an incredible, incredible boon. And I cannot thank you, and my people will not be able to thank you enough for the information, however limited I know you think it's going to be, that you can give us. For we have had none. And very few people have made it out of the city to give any information as to what's happening." And as he's saying that, this woman comes walking out. She is almost as tall as he is. She has strong, broad shoulders. She is wearing an ivory-colored gown that kind of hangs down her frame. She is also looks like someone. She appears to be quite a bit younger than her husband, but she also looks like someone who is very, very active in their lives. You can see as she was walking and turning to, walk up to her husband, that you can see the muscles flexing in her upper arm and shoulder because her gown is sleeveless. You can see the arms, the muscles moving in tone underneath her blouse.
Breathe Milagros.
Breathe Milagros. She has long blonde hair that is not made up in any way, shape, or form. It just hangs down her back, and the only thing that's interesting about it is it looks like it's wet, like she just came from the bath, and she didn't bother doing anything with her hair, and it's just hanging down the back of her gown. She kind of
I'm every mountain.
She has a very visible tattoo on her left arm that is the imbalanced scales that you see of the house. And it looks like it's kind of faded, like it's been there for a long time. And and she is very, very tan. She's obviously been in the sun a lot. And from what you can see, there's the tan goes underneath the blouse. So there is no visible change in skin tone. I think I killed Milagros. And she kind of leans into Leonin, and she says, I hope he is not already making demands of you as our guests. I apologize. My husband is sometimes all business and forgets that people need time to recover from trauma like this. She says, I am Masivia. She says, and I would welcome you to our homes. And she comes down the stairs. She moves with an athlete's grace. It's not really like she does not. It's not like she glides down the stairs, but like moving downstairs quickly and rapidly taxes her in no way, shape, or form. She is balanced and poised, and she doesn't even put a hand on the handrail as she comes down the steps, and she doesn't look down once.
She wants my dude.
Right there with you. Right there with you.
Oh my god.
So she comes walking up, and the first thing she does, she walks up to you, Utopia, and she puts out her hand, and she says, Lady Aster, it has been too long since your family graced our city with their presence. She says, and it has been far too long since I have been able to greet you properly. And she takes you by the shoulders, and she leans forward and she kisses you once on each cheek. And she kind of looks you in the eyes, and she looks you in the eyes for what seems to be an extremely long time. She has those white ice blue eyes that are like, just crystal, and it's this odd, incredibly penetrating gaze that starts to make you uncomfortable. And literally behind you, like after about 10 seconds, Camille goes,
So, my question is Utopia acting how Milagros is acting?
what is Utopia doing with this with excessive scrutiny?
Because that's important to fucking know.
No. She's in her element right now. She's
You're meeting gaze for gaze, basically.
Yeah, posture's good. Hands folded, understanding that this is formal, and this is actually the first time in this entire adventure that she actually knows what she's supposed to do. She's like, I know this. Fancy dinner, we got this. No, I'm losing my shit because I do what I want. No, she's being very proper right now.
So
oh my god!
As she breaks eye contact with you and she looks around the room, she says, "And Lady Utopia, who is your entourage?"
Well, I thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it, and we're happy to help in whatever way we can. This is Wallerstein Okal, my adopted guardian. I understand that the Aster name is important, and especially me being the last one left, but I would prefer to be acknowledged as Utopia Okal going forward. This is Sugash and Grampak, wonderful companions, very generous, very powerful. We're very happy to have them with us. And unfortunately, we had a devotee of the Mist Mother with us, Aom from Kyrell. He unfortunately hasn't been able to attend. He isn't well. His home ending up the way that it has been very, very difficult for him.
She puts her hand on your arm and says, "No, I understand." And I'm assuming that he may have gotten more bad news. Has he not been informed?
Well, he
that the that they're shutting down the rescue operations. The weather on the planet's become too unstable for airships.
Oh.
They've lost 3 ships in the past 2 days.
Oh.
He will definitely not be taking that well, my lady.
They've been still dropping supplies in, but with the wind, and there's been no guarantee that they will land anywhere near their intended recipients, and no one can survive long outside of shelter anymore.
Oh dear.
You are his friends. I will ensure that the information comes from you. I'm sure that blow will be cushioned if it comes from someone he cares about rather than a stranger. I will send word to let the hotel staff know not to mention anything in front of you.
Thank you. You are most kind and generous.
She nods and says, "You're welcome. It's the least we could do."
And well, last but certainly not least, this is Camille. She's my companion for tonight. She was living in Ayla when everything happened. She was actually there for a lot more of this catastrophe than the rest of us were, and we're very happy to have her with us.
She kind of looks up and she says, "I thought you were there from the beginning of the incident."
That's quite the story, my lady.
It's a whole thing.
Just actually, let's not try and do this piecemeal. Let's go ahead and step into the dining room. But Leonin at this point has come all the way downstairs. Let's step into the dining room. Let's at least get you fed. She kind of looks over at Grandpa and Sugash. Although I understand some of you may have already eaten. She says, "I hope you at least try the dishes and let us know what you think." We had a bit of trouble. Not trouble, but we had a bit of a lucky break. A recent foray into the mountains brought back a fresh wyvern. And I do believe you have a local delicacy that is made with the poison glands from the wyvern stinger.
Oh.
And our chef is taking a stab at it, so we will be having an extra special dessert.
Oh, it's a dessert?
Yeah, it's dessert because it's the last course of the meal, and it could be your last course, so...
Oh. Well...
Every course.
It's actually... it is an orcish dessert that is made using the venom from the wyvern stinger that is boiled down repeatedly until it's turned into a paste. And actually, the basis for the venom, it's a very sugary, taxy substance. So if you boil it off enough and get rid of the impurities, it turns into a very minty flavored paste that is then used in a kind of a sorbet. So, but if they don't do enough, if they don't treat it correctly, and they leave any of the toxins in, you can basically poison yourself. You might not die, but you might wish you were dead. Wyvern toxin is very painful. So, and she says, so we will. They are very, very excited to attempt this, and it should be wonderful. My chef is amazing.
Well, thank you.
Please.
I really look forward to this.
She kind of holds her arm out towards the dining room.
Yeah, hold Camille's hand while we're going.
Yeah, you feel her squeeze your hand a little bit harder than necessary, and she kind of leans over towards you and she says, "I find her very intimidating."
Oh, it's fine. She's fine.
I'm sure she is. I know how to smile.
Val will walk past Camille. She most definitely is.
So you guys are. Oh no! I was like, "What's that tapping noise?" That my dog's scratching. So, so she says, "You guys walk into the room. It is a very ornate, very well-appointed dining room. It has a high vaulted ceiling, goes about 15, 20 feet above your head. 2 chandeliers hang down to illuminate the area. There's the usual setup, the long dining table with seats for everybody. You see that there are 2 other seats other than the Lord, the Lady, and yourselves. There's 2 other seats. Already seated in those seats, and they stand up as you walk in the room. There is an older gentleman. He looks to actually be older than Lord Trask. His hair has gone to silver. He is wearing a very proper attired military dress uniform. He has a long sword on his hip, and he is actually, as he stands up, he kind of unbuckles the sword and he hangs it on the back of the chair, almost informally. And he comes, and he stands up and he kind of looks at you all, and he nods. And there is a very light-skinned woman who stands there she is about 5'8". She has very drawn features. She just looks tired. There's nothing you can say other than she looks tired. Indeterminate age, but anywhere from like late 20s to early 40s. She has almost a faraway look in her eyes as she stands up. She has long nails that are well manicured, but you can see that her fingers are stained with multiple different things that have literally stained the skin. And she stands up, and Lord Trask, as he's walking in, says, "May I please introduce you to the captain of the guard? This is Barish Thornton. This man has served my family for, my entire life." And he says, and he rose up through the ranks. He is in charge of defense of the city, and recently he has been put in charge of defense of the Trask Holdings, and is only recently back from the field. And he honors us with his presence this evening. I understand that you literally rode in and changed clothes, Lord Thornton, so I greatly appreciate you joining us this evening. And he kind of like snaps his feet together in a general salute, and he says, "My lord, I am yours to command, of course." He says, "I would not ever, in any way, shape, or form, disappoint." And Lord Trask says, "I understand, but I'd still appreciate it." And Thornton kind of just nods curtly. And he says, "And this is Marista Zarastevia. She is the Wizardist of the Tower. She serves our family as an arcane advisor. She is an incredibly gifted alchemist. And she also is our family archivist due to her incredible ability to commune with the dead."
Ah.
And she kind of looks at you all and she says, "I understand that from what I have been able to gather, the college is no more."
That is correct, unfortunately.
That is horrible news. There is so much knowledge that was lost just in the libraries alone, let alone all those bright young students. She says, there's no words.
It pains me deeply as well, my lady.
Lady Trask says, "Let us not. We are going to celebrate that we are alive. We're going to enjoy a fine meal. Let us save the darkness for after, and then we will delve into business. But for now, let us appreciate the fact that we all are sitting at this lovely table and enjoying a fine repast, and we will speak on how we will keep the city and all of its people safe." Hear, hear. She says, so she Lord and Lady Trask go to either end of the table, and they indicate the table and says, "Please, we do not hold the formal seating. Take any seat you like." And Lady Trask kind of looks at you, Utopia, and she's like, "I would appreciate it, however, if you joined me."
Oh,
And she points to one of the seats down her end.
oh, okay, of course.
And she says, "And Miss Camille," and she points to the seat directly across from you, the seat that would be directly across from you, on her other to her left. And Lady Camille kind of like nods, and she circles around the table and sits down. And the rest of you take seats anywhere you like.
I will wander over and sit next to the lady wizard. I can't remember her name right now.
Marissa? Oh, well, Zadastivia?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is not a Steve.
Marissa Zadastivia.
Take a chair
Closest to what?
the kitchen.
The kitchen? The kitchen is obviously to the left. There's a large set of double swinging doors that, and you can hear the preparation noises coming from that. The chair closest to the kitchen is Lord Trask's chair because it's at the head of the table. But you can take one directly hit the chair directly to his right, which would be the closest one to you as you come in the door. Mr. Thornton has already hung his sword belt on it. But you can take the chair across from him.
I don't think that's a good idea, but I'll do it anyway.
All right. You see that Marissa hasn't really taken a spot, but as you all start sitting down, Sphinx, where do you what spot do you take? You basically gonna take one midway down the table type situation?
Yeah.
All right. When you go to take a seat, she takes the seat very intentionally directly across from you. All right. So you guys sit down and begin making preparations for the meal, which basically consists of them bringing out drinks, and everyone begins to make conversation. Armpok, where are you going to sit?
Are the chairs actually going to hold me?
Yeah. Remember, this is high end.
Perception check to see if I'd actually crush the chairs that I sat in. So I don't know if I'd actually if they would support my weight, my armor, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, they don't. These are well-made, well-constructed pieces of furniture that are meant to be heirlooms and last for centuries. So they're kind of overbuilt to take wear and tear.
Heavy duty, meant for even the toughest of orc.
Fantasy Home Depot.
So I will take a seat and basically across from. So I know that the bear dude is to the right of the Lord. So I'm sitting next to him and across diagonally from Sugash.
Perfect. So the chair next to where you would be, Sugash, is empty because there's no Aeon.
Oh, that would have made this entire night.
Homophobic.
So you guys
I'll fix it in the fan fiction. Don't worry.
So everyone is seated. They begin serving out wine. To start with, you guys, as you're sitting down, Lady Trask stands up, holding up her wine glass, and she says, "First, I would like for us to raise our glasses in tribute to all those who fell attempting to defend Ayla, and all those I know who have since fallen during the occupation, who have been unrightly persecuted for whatever reason. Just as we have heard stories and heard tales. But I wanted to be able to acknowledge that their loss is felt by the entire world. Altaras will never be the same. And we need to acknowledge this as we take on this great undertaking. And she kind of holds her glass and says, "To the fallen."
To the fallen.
And she
To the fallen.
she takes a long draught and she sits back down. Lord Leonin kind of like says, "So," he kind of looks at you, Grandpa and Sugash. "You gentlemen were there in the capital, but apparently you weren't there for all 3 months."
So, there was a flash of light while we were in the tower, and we were moving from the tower to the Astor estate, and we wound up in the middle of a street, and by the stars, we were 3 months into the future.
So you traveled through. The college sent you through time.
Not intentionally.
Apparently.
Oh. How do you know it wasn't? And Lord Leonin kind of looks at you, kind of odd, Val, and he says, "How do you know it wasn't intentional?"
Well, we were aiming for the Astor Manor for that night.
We don't.
To have words with her father. I mean, yes, the Grandpa speaks true. We don't necessarily know for certain, but what little we do know is that there was.
We would take drugged her up.
They strung who up?
Was it?
Yeah, it was her.
Yeah, the time wizard lady.
Oh, Lady Mistress Kayla Forsyth. Yes, is the one that sent us through the teleport.
And last heard, she was staked into the ground in a circle in the middle of that town.
You see Marissa,
Not dead.
both her hands go to her mouth, and her already pale complexion gets even lighter. And Lady Trask kind of says, "And this is why I didn't want to talk about it at dinner, but obviously we're not going to be able to wait. So
It was not my conversation.
No. I understand." And she kind of glares across the length of the table at her husband, and he's like, "I am sorry.
It is war and death, which is what we must know in these dark times."
I agree wholeheartedly. But my wife wanted to have at least a little decorum and a little civility, as she knows that this was going to be an evening of darkness no matter what we did with it." It says, "So I will refrain, and I apologize to my wife as the hostess and to you as my guests." He says, and he kind of looks like, "We will not speak of this again until after the meal." And he kind of looks... Huh?
Oh, good.
What is this? Kind of looks at you. "So, you are a long way from home. What brings you..." And he's looking specifically Grandpa and Sugash, kind of like gestures at both of you. "What brings you to Alteras? Not exactly a common destination for your people."
The hauntings of a witch.
The hauntings of a witch. I don't mean to be alliterative, but which witch?
I see what you mean.
The one who most of you pray to.
The Miss Mother?
Miss Mother. She appeared in our dreams and would not leave us alone until we embarked on some god-forsaken quest, which is now devolved into the world coming to an end. So I just wanted the voice out of my head.
He kind of looks at you and he says, "How long ago was it the Miss Mother spoke to you?"
How long has it been, or since it started?
Since it started.
Many years.
She's been speaking to you for years? I don't think I knew that.
It was I have seen dreams of war and death since my day of reckoning. Since the day where we were taken to the Spirit Mother and chose to see our destinies. And I have seen nothing but war and chaos in my dreams since. It was at that point that she began to appear.
Well, it's very interesting to see someone have two callings. So what is, if that is your calling, if your calling is to protect your people, why are you not, and I'm not trying to be rude, I apologize if it sounds that way, but why are you not with your people?
Because in order to prove myself, I must bring hide and bone back to the clan.
As I understand it, your worlds are some of the most dangerous places in all of the Miss Mother's creation, providing the home for incredible beasts and mythical creatures who sometimes, of course, leave your world and come out into our worlds, which is where we get all the things that we have, like living in our woods currently. He says, what exactly could any other world provide that your world couldn't?
Potatoes.
Comes back around. Comes back around. I love it.
High
Potatoes.
five for breaking the cast.
I'll do potatoes every time.
Leon kind of looks at you and he says, potatoes.
Send them.
They,
But there's no blood.
Okay. I've never met anyone with a devotion to potatoes on that level.
It's uncanny, sir.
part of our coming of age as warriors in my clan is the pursuit of the great winged ones, the dragons who beset this world and provide the greatest of honor and challenges.
Huh. Well, you're in a good place for that. We have a number of worms that make their homes in these peaks. But as
I
of
have met one, and I reach up and pat the bone that's sitting on against my chair.
this is, I wasn't going to ask, but yes, that is a significant artifact. It says you fell that one in battle.
I have his skull plate too.
It's like, that is an amazing and a remarkable accomplishment, and does let me understand more fully the capabilities and scope of your band. It says,
I have a gift for you.
certainly.
And I'm gonna reach into my bag and pull out one of the dragon claws. It's about yay long.
Mm-hmm.
And give it to them.
He kind of takes it and he's like, this is an honor. He's like, if you would permit me to reciprocate.
What did you have in mind?
He's like, this will turn into an amazing piece to add to my collection. I was a warrior of no small skill, if I must say so. But I do have my own set of trophies, and I have one. Oh, hydrate, everybody.
Hydrate.
Hydration.
Hydrating so much I'm out.
From Will.
Yeah.
Hey, Will.
We're gonna. Hey, hey, Will. We're gonna take a break in about 4 minutes, so
Yeah.
roughly. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, at the break we're going to be giving out the keyword for a giveaway. We're going to be giving away 2 minis this week. We are going to be giving out. Let's see what will come up on this screen.
So since we're already semi-broken, Colchador dragon.
Say what?
Colchador is dragon and orchid.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
but we're going to be giving away these 2 minis when we go to break.
Your
We're
mic
going
is laughing at you tonight, brother.
Yep. But we're going to be giving these 2 minis away. We're going to be putting out a keyword when we go to break, and then when all you do is you type the keyword into chat, you'll be entered to win, and we will draw the winner when we get back to chat. So, all that being said, he kind of looks at you and he says, "If you would excuse me for just a moment."
It is your home and your table.
Yes, but courtesy and respect. He stands up and he's
kind of nods.
He said, and he runs. He kind of stands up and he trots out of the room. There, for the room itself, there is a door behind him that is a double doors that lead back to the kitchen and serving area. There is the archway you came through. To the right-hand side in the dining area, there is another door that leads to something that is obviously underneath the grand staircase and towards where that hallway went out of the grand entry. This goes back in that direction, and there's another doorway on the other side of the room that leads back in the same direction. But he goes to the door on the right, and he goes through the door, and you hear him kind of like trotting down a hallway. You hear another door open. After a few moments, you hear, "Where did I put it? Damn it!" He's like, and then he says, and you hear, "Aha!" And he comes trotting back out the hallway, and he's holding about a 24-inch long oak box. It's about 8 inches wide, and he brings it over and he says, "It was one of my grandest tales." He says, "But this creature fought my group and I to a standstill for many days, and the chase ranged all over the mountains. We managed to wing it on the 3rd day, and it could no longer fly, but it could still breathe and it could still fight." That was the day that Edgar fell, my compatriot and battle brother, and we spent many a diamond bringing him back. He was absolutely ruined by its breath weapon. He says, "But," and he kind of like sits down in front of you and puts it down. He's like, "We had this made and given to him to commemorate his loss." And he opens the dagger, and it's a dagger that looks like it is made out of a long fang from a dragon. And he says, "Number one, this thing is absolutely impervious to fire. This thing had to be cut by hand by a stone cutter. Could not be hit by torches, could not be hit by anything, but it makes sense. It was a red dragon." He says, "But it also apparently is very deadly when used on a dragon." He says, "If you would take this in honor and represent me on your next battle, so I may live vicariously through you and relive my youth."
You do me a service, sir.
And it is like 20 some odd inches long. It's not a dagger.
I mean, it's a dagger for me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a dagger.
But for purposes, it counts as a short sword, and it is a short sword +1 of dragon slaying, which means used against anything with the draconic item in its bestiary description, it will do a significant amount of extra damage.
Grandpa is beyond humbled at this current time.
He kind of looks at it and he looks at you. I thought you already subscribed last week. I guess it has been. Thank you very much, baby. I love you. Thank you for the subscription. I love my wife.
He says weird things, Brent.
He does.
I do.
Oh my god.
But anyway, he's kind of looks at you all, and he looks at you and he says, he's like, "You do me an honor." He's like, "It has been long since I was allowed to step on the field of battle, and it's been even longer since I felt that thrill." He says, "But hopefully I'll never do it again." He looks at his wife.
I have found a battle within your own walls that you could wage and conquer.
He kind of looks at you curiously. He's like, "What exactly would that be?"
You have many people down in your lower ward in the park that will freeze this winter if they do not have proper shelter. I have seen that your men have cleared the forest and made a nice killing field for anything that comes at you, so you have loggers at your disposal. Building longhouses for them would be beyond beneficial and save many lives, and that is a war that you can win, sir.
We were hoping that this would be a situation that would be resolved by now. He says,
it will not be.
But I agree. It is not a situation that we can allow to continue. And he says, and we have been making some preparations. I heard that you provided them a service this evening and you were down among the people. Do you think that there is enough left of them, or are they too broken? If we were to call upon them to help us run timber, so we could make construct more houses use a mill to construct more house materials, that they would be able to help with rendering aid for themselves and building these new homes. I have no problem decommissioning the park and making that another district and allowing them to build homes there. He's like, but we do not have the raw materials necessary to build that many buildings.
It allows them safety, I'm sure they will okay.
Your mic went out again.
Also,
You're not muted.
because I keep moving it away from my face.
There you go.
I don't.
You said it allows them safety.
I will be sure they would be glad to help. Plus, there is a farm that needs to be harvested, which will give them crops to make their own food.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
It says,
The
you have already
elder
been...
who runs those camps actually owns that property. So that would favor goodwill.
He kind of looks
And
down
we
at his
have
wife, and he says...
started a spark of hope within them. If you use the fuel that we started, they will gladly rise and help you.
He says, there is no way that I can repay that kindness. He says, we
Take care of them and you protect them, and that is kindness repaid.
we were going to start preparing some of the hotels to house them. He's like, it's obvious that there's not going to be much travel. He says, but I think that a long-term solution rather than that temporary solution would be better. And I think that if the people also are invested in this by being part of the construction of these homes, that it might help them feel more like we are committed to making sure they remain safe by allowing them and encouraging them to do this.
If we are given the time, I will help.
I hope you are given the time, but there is no way we can actually guarantee that. It is. We will have more to discuss on that, and you will understand why. He says, but in the meantime, he says, let us enjoy the meal. And at this point, servants start coming out of the back of the room. They start dishing out food, and it turns into just a standard dinner. The conversation turns to lighter fare as people start complimenting the courses. There's some light discussions had, and we are going to go ahead and go to break. So first off, before we go to break, some quick things that I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show. Number one, yes, we are going to be giving away these minis after we get back from break. Shadow 1, Shadow 2, from the Loot Studios Minis 3D printing group for, I do believe it was like October of last year. But these minis are gorgeous. I have them already printed out. I will be drawing a winner. All you have to do is put in a keyword that I'm going to do right now, and I think I have to use the one that this one has built in. And there you go. And all you have to do is type in the word exclamation point raffle. Now, only type it in once, but type it into chat and you'll be entered to win. Everyone is eligible to win, and we will let you know the moment that we draw the winners after we get back from break who won. So that's the first thing. The next thing is, if you follow us over on TikTok, and let me put our link tree in there. Ooh, I'm not on home row. Oh, I didn't even build a link tree out. Yay! If you follow us over on TikTok, and I'll throw the link up in chat in a little bit, we are giving away this 3D printed Wizard's Tower when we hit 1,000 followers on TikTok. This is a 4-level Wizard's Tower. The parapet's at the top. There is a hatch on the top of the tower that opens and closes. There are stairwells to go up to each level. There is the 2 different levels with 2 different types of windows. There's a ground floor which has a door. It opens and closes. We're going to be giving away this entire thing when we get to 1,000 followers on TikTok. So go to I'm going to put our TikTok link in the chat when I get back from chat. Go follow us on TikTok. We're at 806 or something like that, but we've kind of hit an impasse because I haven't been making a lot of TikTok videos. I haven't had the time. But we're at 806, so go give us a follow, and I will resend the video out for the 1K contest on TikTok. If you share that video out, it'll also help us get that message out. So if you follow us on TikTok, and even if you never made a TikTok, you can duet the video, or you can stitch the video and just throw it up on your TikTok as well to let other people know. Because you probably have friends who follow you, and they might not follow this show, so they might know about this contest. Finally, if you are following us here on Twitch, I have very good news for you. You are already entered in this contest. We are giving away the D&D Core Book boxed set when we hit 1,000 followers on Twitch. And we are going to be giving this away to one winner when we hit 1,000 followers. And this comes in that decorative sleeve. It has a GM screen, Player's Guide, Monstrous Manual, DMG. I actually have it physically sitting right here, but it's really heavy, so I usually just show the picture. And it is foil-covered, foil-stamped books, so they don't look like the standard books. So whenever you go out to the game store, you pull out your sleeve, you dump your books on the table, they're not going to look like other people's books. You won't get them confused with anyone else's. That means you also won't have to write your name on the edge of the book so no one steals it. But there you go. We're going to give those away when we get to 1,000 followers here on Twitch, and we're at 603 right now. So this is kind of, I hope we can get there by the end of the year, so this can be a great Christmas present with someone. But share our Twitch stream out. Let people know that you're sharing it to them so they can get a chance to win this prize. It's a wonderful prize, and we want more people to get into the game, so we'd love it also if someone who doesn't actually have the books wins. That would be amazing. But everyone who follows us on Twitch is entered to win automatically, and new followers will be entered in to win until we do the drawing, which is not going to happen until we hit 1K. So, all that being said, thank you very much for being with us tonight. We're going to go take a 10-minute break. It is 9:10 right now. We will be back at 9:20. Love you guys. subscribe. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for the Moments of Spies. The raffle is not working in Streamlabs. Yay! So, we've got 6 entries, so let's go ahead and do this the old-fashioned way, except it's still going to be not the old-fashioned way, because I'm going to use Google to roll the dice. Alright.
You've got Foundry up.
Yeah, but I just already brought up Google. So, we're going to do number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Miss Lillian Vess, you have just won.
Hey.
You have just won the 2 printed shadows. I'm going to send you a message on in Twitch, and we will get you that. You will get information after the show, or directly send you by email, or you can email contact@dinnerandagame.net. And Array won, yay! So Array won. I still win because Array won. But yes, so you go ahead and email us there with your delivery information, and we will get that sent out to you. Like I said, I already have those minis printed, so I will be able to send them out right away. Oh, by the way, Sphinx, y'all's minis, except for Milagros, your mini hasn't gone out yet because I had to reprint it because the base broke.
Oh, that's okay.
But yeah, the minis, your minis, Sphinx, your minis, and Charles's minis have already gone out. So they should be on their way to you. And as soon as I get Mrs. Ray's information, I'll send the information, her mini out to her, because hers are also both printed. And we will get those out to you guys right away. And congratulations to everyone who won. We really appreciate you guys watching the show. And we hope you don't leave right now. Because, incentives. Yay! So, congratulations again, and we will get back to the dinner party. Rome, it's still not working? You're muted.
You're muted.
No, it's not.
All right, we'll work on that later.
Question, I'm assuming we're getting into combat.
No. I just,
Okay.
I wanted to know. I was checking to see how it was.
We don't have a battle map. Yeah.
I was going to check and see how we were ending things tonight, so I know exactly where to draw the line. I can't say we're not getting into combat. Sugosh and Grandpa are present in the room, so who knows?
And talking, which is important. Yeah.
So who knows how things could turn out? But anyway,
Yeah.
So the dinner is the meal is wonderful. They actually do make, and you guys don't call it sorbet, of course. You call it the ice poison, and it's basically made by utilizing they boil and boil the poison from the stinger until it's reduced down to its base sugars, and then those sugars are utilized to pour over to put into drinks, and basically the rum that is very prominent, that is one of the main drinks. It's an incredibly strong rum that is produced from some of the local fauna. They basically use the sugars in the rum, and they also use it in some of their the dessert dishes they utilize. And there has been some things in some of the more industrialized areas. They do have like ice cream that they make with it. So, and like I said, it's a very minty taste from the sugars, but that's because of the toxins that are boiled off and destroyed when the proteins are broken down. They actually give the sugar substance a minty taste to it. So, and it's pretty strong. So anyway, that is going to be that's what they serve for dessert. And they basically have, once that is done, they everyone kind of clears their plate. The plates are all cleared away. They bring out a coffee service, and they bring what is traditional after dinner drinks, which is port, which is a very strong wine. And they also bring out a cask of ale, and it's tapped, and so pretty much it's much less of a conventional dinner with aristocracy, and turns more into just a bunch of people sitting around the table. And through the course of the meal, everyone's kind of gotten more relaxed. And they basically as they're getting out, serving out the wine and everything like that, Lord Leonin kind of leans back in his chair and he says, "It has been a wonderful evening." He says, "But we did have a purpose, and I think it is time that we begin discussions in earnest on what your experiences were and what you can tell us about what happened to you and what exactly happened in general with the city itself. And any information you can give us at this point will be appreciated, because we obviously are very far away from the events and are very lacking in current information of what's happening there."
Val, you can do this quickly.
Yes, I suppose I can.
Face touch.
Yes, oh, right. Yes, that. I will turn to.
You need to ask permission first.
Yes, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Let
You
me
have
do
a
it.
habit of not doing that, sir.
Yeah, that's true. You're very correct. And I turn to Lord Trask. Lord Trask, is it safe to assume that you know what a Kalishtar is?
He kind of looks at you and he visibly pales and he leans away from you and he says, "Why?"
I am, in fact, a Kalishtar.
And he stands up.
I do not. I don't wish to cause you any harm, but I have.
He kind of looks at you and he says, "Excuse us." And he looks at you, Val, and he says, "Come with me." And he turns and he starts striding down that same hallway he went to get the item he gave to Grandpa.
Oh no. Oh no.
Pardon me, and I will rise, and
His wife kind of stands up. Go ahead.
As
Grandpa.
Val walks past, I'm going to put my hand on his arm with the hope that he realizes that I'm giving him permission to link to my brain, so that if something fucking happens, he can let me know.
So you have to have line of sight to link initially, right?
Yes.
He's literally walking past me, and I'm just kind of gonna
Look
grab his
deeply
arm
in.
and look at him, and like not say anything, but try and get that point into his brain.
I'm gonna nod, and then I'm going to create the mind link.
What?
This is weird.
And both of our voices go, "You have no idea." And we
You
keep
hear a male and a female voice speaking.
Oh, there's
I just
more of
imagine
you.
his brain sounds like auto-tune.
Yeah, it's like T-Pain in your head. That's
Oh God!
Grandpa kind of grimaces, but then lets go of Val's arm.
And I'll just give kind of a silent nod of acknowledgement, a quick thumbs up, and then I'm gonna follow Lord Trask.
As you walk as you walk down the hallway, you pass what is obvious one door that's closed, and you see farther down the hallway there's another door that's open, and then the hallway opens up into it goes around a corner on that door, which probably goes around to the front entry. The door that's open has light coming out of it, and it is not the flickering light of a torch or a candle, but it's a steady, solid light.
Okay. I'm going to continue into the room, eyebrow raised. Do you wish to see me in private, sir?
As you come into the room, he says he's facing you, and there is a glow from behind him, like basically on his desk. There is a glow that is illuminating everything, and he is cast into shadow because it's coming from behind him. And he says, "Yes," and the door closes behind you.
Oh,
And he
That's-
steps to one side, and you see a tall white crystal sitting in the center of his desk. And he says, It has been a long time since we encountered another. And you hear a voice in your head as you feel a mind link being established, and you hear another voice say, "It has been too long since we found one of the reunited."
I go speechless. I don't know what my quarry is doing. I'm just like, oh!
Your quarry, you feel fear coming from your quarry, and the quarry says, "That is a quarry.
Yep.
That is a quarry not bound."
I didn't think that was possible.
And Lord Trask kind of looks at you and he says, "It is the legacy of my family. We were one of the first brought here, and apparently whatever the Mist Mother did to bring us here and keep us here cut us off from the access to the deep dreaming, which severed our ties to our quarry and killed many of us. My family's quarry was saved by the Mist Mother when she realized what she had done. And my family was able to keep the connection to their quarry intact. But the physical connection to the quarry was forever severed. We share the mind link. But Ablin is forever trapped inside this gem. Unless the Mist Mother finds a way to reunite us. Just as we know that the Mist Mother knows how to keep other quarry that she brings here from suffering the same fate. Other Kalishtar from bringing here suffering the same fate with their quarry. But until now, and since the Kalishtar were already so rare, we had never encountered another. We had just known this from family legend. He kind of like takes a deep breath and he kind of steps forward and he puts out his arm. He's like, "You were the first of our kind that we have met in hundreds of years." And I speak as my representative of my family, not as a representative of that's the only people I can speak to. It's the only ones I've ever known.
You are the first Kalishtar that I've met outside of my own family, so this is equally jarring. I did not know that there were unbound Kalishtar and quarry.
As far as I know, there aren't. As I said, the Mist Mother did this for our family. This is our, as you know, the quarry are passed through bloodline.
Right.
Well, our connection to the quarry was severed, which was killing the bloodline. We are a species. We are not individuals. We are one. We are two in one. So one cannot survive without the other. And when the Mist Mother realized what she did when she brought over the group of Kalishtar here that she did, when she realized what she had done, because I don't know if you understand what's happening on the level that we, and he kind of gestures to the crystal, understand it. It says, the Mist Mother, to keep her children safe, her realm does not connect to the prime material plane. This is her plane of existence inside of her, within her.
Yes.
And she can limit the access the other planes have. And the deep dreaming is just another plane. And it is the home of the quarry. And it's where they draw their spiritual and residual energies that are their existence. So when they were abruptly cut off from that, most of them were instantly destroyed.
That brings, perhaps, I think, some light to something that happened to us during our jump through time.
What was it?
during the jump, I temporarily lost connection to my quarry.
He kind of like looks at you, his eyes go around. He's like, the Mist Mother swore that she would never commit such an act again.
I don't know that it was necessarily of her doing.
He says, I don't think that the Mist Mother. My family does not worship the Mist Mother. We do not practice any services. We do not venerate her. She destroyed our people. She saved us and saved our quarry, which allowed us to continue to exist here. But she did not do anything. She did not stop. We know that there have been other Kalishtar that have been brought and placed in other locations.
Yes. Clearly.
We have my family has always taught the next generations that the Mist Mother is someone to be venerated as a power. To be respected as the ultimate source of authority within this realm. But we've also been taught that the Mist Mother is a spoiled and impetuous child. She considers herself to be a mother, but she acts more like the child.
With the exception of the child part, my family is much taught the same. We do not worship the Mist Mother either. We respect her as a power. We respect her as a very powerful being. But ours is the path of light. And while we have placed some trust in the Mist Mother, faith, on the other hand, is an entirely different matter.
Faith is based on a lack of knowledge that leads to an acceptance. We have the knowledge. We know who the Mist Mother is. Look at Kyrell. We know what she's capable of when she has a temper tantrum.
Yes.
And we also know what she's capable of that she's capable of making rash and blind decisions without considering what impacts they will have on others. Because she is a child. And I think that is more true than we could understand. Because I think that this Dark Mother, I don't think it's just another aspect of the Mist Mother. I think that it is just like with any children. As they grow up, they become adolescents who are prone to sullenness and stubbornness. I think that the Mist Mother was in her infancy when she was roaming, went into childhood or toddlerhood, and is now entering her teen years.
Oh dear.
And I don't know.
Just out of character, the Mist Mother's entering her teen goth phase. Of course she is. Of course she is.
The Night Mother is her god phase.
Of course
We
she
need
is.
interdimensional hot topics.
We just buy her some dark eyeliner, some black lipstick, and some, I don't even know what the current goth band is.
Oh,
I'm
my
so
God,
old.
neither do I.
Yeah, same.
And get her some new and modern goth music, and she'll be fine.
She'll be fine. She'll walk it off.
Yeah.
But he says, I think that we have an understanding.
We absolutely do.
He said, I wanted to make you understand that when you reach out to touch my mind, he says, I would not be able to be accessed. It's one of the situations that has come from having my Corey spirit separated from me physically. The only thing that can contact me on that level is, without use of aggression or violence, is my Corey. He's like, you may attempt to directly connect with my Corey, but it has become much more potent since its separation from me, and from a situation from my family. And it is this happened when my family was first brought to this plane, and this Corey has been of itself since that time. Since Corys themselves are immortal, it has been alive since that time.
So it is very strong. I can assume that it is a very strong quarry.
A very strong Corey that has... and you hear in your head, I have been limited to only interacting with members of his family. I cannot interact directly with anyone except another Kalishtar. So if I were to leave this prison, it would have to be to go to someone who would then hopefully find a way to become a Kalishtar. Because that is the only way I can ever survive outside of this.
That is most unfortunate.
It is not why we were created, for sure.
No, it is not. And I am deeply sorry.
And the dreaming darkness, luckily enough, has never found this place. So, but if it ever does, I would probably be like a beacon to it.
And I hope, with everything that we are, that does not come to pass. But if you would allow me to, I would be honored to connect to your mind and transpose everything that I've seen
And he says,
to you.
The Corey says, by all means.
And I will approach the crystal. I'll take a deep breath, and I will place my 3 fingers on the crystal. Our mind to your mind.
You are overwhelmed.
Ah!
There is a flash of light inside your mind, and you are connected to a creature that its volume on the psychic plane is immense. There are experiences, there is wonder, there is sadness, there is grief, there is pain on a scale and a cycle that stretches back farther than your mind can even really grasp. It is all there for almost the time is almost irrelevant, because you're sure with all these lifespans and all these people you see that come before it and believe that this is hundreds and hundreds of generations, thousands of years, all trapped in this limiting crystal cage prison. And as
I'm gonna.
you are completely,
Grandpa collapses.
I will say,
fuck.
you are suddenly severed from Sphinx, from Val, as if someone just cut that mental tether.
No, as I saw the flash,
Mhm.
I've been rolling wisdom saves for Rome. As I saw that flash basically happen, Grandpa collapses at the table. Like, I heard the whole fucking conversation because I
Yep.
was in your head.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't say anything, and at that, the first one I actually got a 21 on my wisdom check, so that one I was able to sit through it. But the other one was a 15 and a 16 because I rolled disadvantage, and Grandpa literally falls face first onto the table, unconscious.
Oh
Yep.
God.
Camille leaps up and runs down around, and she lifts Grandpa's head up.
Try to.
Sugash, I'm assuming you're running around the other end of the table too?
Yeah, but I'm actually gonna roll.
What are you rolling? And I'm rolling. I'm hating.
Yeah, I got a 6 on dexterity, so I'm taking something out along the way. Probably
You smashing. You knock over the Lord's chair. You spill his drink across the table, but you don't give two shits. You run around to your brother. He is completely unconscious, but he is not dead.
I got a 28 on the medicine roll, so I'm gonna try to slap him out of it.
28.
He is.
Pick the ass up.
If you had to make a judgment call, you would say he is in shock, like shock from a mortal wound type shock, and that his body has basically shut down to try and protect itself. But you start shaking him. You basically throw a glass of wine in his face, and you're just trying to shock him anyway to getting up. But Grandpa, you are woken up.
He's also going to take a life transference at the same time.
How much are you going to give him?
So I take 17 damage, which means you're getting 31.
34.
Good, because I think you were still hurt. Oh, yeah.
Well, you got a long rest.
Yeah. Either way, you just got...
My cat's horrible. But yes, she has jumped up on top of my desktop and knocked everything to the floor. Because she wants to sit on top of the cooling fan.
Of course she does.
Yeah, you have a splitting headache. You can't really see. Everything is just these flashes of light. It's like you looked into the sun. There are those borealises drifting across your vision, and they block everything out. It's slowly clearing, but your eyes hurt as if you stared into the sun for too long.
Just give me a minute, brother.
What happened?
Stop hurting yourself.
What happened? I'm gonna glance at the matron with
she's
so charming resting bitch face.
At the resting bitch face.
Which one are you at the Lady Trask or at the Wizardist?
Lady Trask.
Lady Trask, I'm assuming, since it was her husband who just took our friend.
Yeah, Lady Trask is she stands up, and when he falls forward, and she's looking at the both of you, is he all right?
He seems okay. Is this?
Voices.
Should we send for a priest?
Right.
Where did our friend go?
As far as I know, he went to Leon's office.
Right. So much.
Are you okay? Is Val okay?
I believe so. He was.
Why would there be something wrong with your friend? And she looks
So-
over towards the door of the offices, and she starts walking across.
Our friend is a Kalish god.
Utopia's following. Where's the office?
It's on the doorway on the right-hand side of the dining room wall, and it is the same wall where the kitchen is, which is behind Lord Trask's head of the table, and it is on the right-hand side, and there's a short hallway with two doors, and the office is the second door, but the office door is closed. And what were you saying, Grandpa? Sorry.
No, I'm just Grompak is coherently but incoherently mumbling about the shit that he just experienced.
Gotcha.
Because he did, in the process of that, feel the touch of the fucking quarry. So he had 6 voices in his head at one point.
6 voices, and one of the voices was from a presence that was
fucking powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm beyond sensory overloaded, and I just need a fucking minute, but I'm still gonna yell at Sugash for fucking hurting himself. Just give me a fucking minute.
Utopia.
So Grandpa's out of it.
Yeah. Utopia. So as you're walking that way, his Lady Trask is walking right behind you, and as she comes up, she's kind of like standing behind you, and you're like, you knock on the door, and she kind of like, excuse me, like she's trying to get by you. Do you get out of the way? She says, okay, fine. And she just shoves you out of the way. She says, it is my house. And she opens the door. And she's like, what is going on in here? So Val, as you're sitting there and you're connected to this essence, you finally... It feels like almost like this is drawn back. And it feels like this is all condensed down into what on your mental plane looks like a giant figure that stands before you, that is still glowing so and brightly that you cannot make any distinct features out of it. You can't even tell the gender. It is just this huge glowing humanoid figure in your mind. And it says, I'm sorry, this is now the smallest I can be.
Okay. That's a lot. Ow, firstly. Secondly, whoa. I don't know that I can tell you how honored I am to be in the presence of something this long-lived and, frankly, massive, please forgive my saying.
There's something that you both, and you are standing beside someone you've never seen before.
And I look to my side. Oh my god!
5 foot, 5.5-ish, red hair, amber-ish skin, orangish eyes. And she looks over at you and she looks down and she's like, I don't know what this is.
Val, is that you?
And she kind of looks up at you and she's like, I guess.
I hug her. Oh my god!
She kind of like stands there with her arms like she doesn't really understand what to do with them. And after a couple of seconds, she kind of awkwardly embraces you back. And you hear through both your minds, it's like, that is the nearest thing that she can remember of what she was before she was Quarry.
You're gorgeous.
And she kind of leans back and she looks at you and she says like, she like puts her hands to her face and she like pushes on her cheeks. She's like, I'm solid.
Yeah. And you're a redhead. Oh my gosh.
And she's like, she grabs her hair. She's like, I'm a redhead. She's kind of like, she kind of lets it fall back down. She's like, I'm a female.
Did you not know that before?
I mean,
I knew that. Did you not know that?
I chose it because you kind of liked it, but that's not the point. It's never been a thing. I don't know how to feel about this.
I am. Is my Quarry naked?
No, she
Okay,
is wearing. She's wearing a long maroonish red dress that matches the gold tones in her skin and the dark red hue of her hair. And it's just a very simple peasant's dress. With and it's basically what she's attired in, and she kind of looks around, and you hear that voice in your head, and it says, "We are Quarry. We are creatures that transcended the physical and entered the psychic. We are beings of energy, but we were not without physical form. Should we choose to come back to it, we can attain it again. It's like this I have discovered from having had my essence restored to its full capability. The Quarry are a people separate from the Kalishtar. They bonded with the Kalishtar because of the dreaming darkness and its threat to the Quarry. And it still seeks to destroy them. We were forced to flee, and in doing so, we were forced to give up what you, and he gestures to you, Val, take for granted every day. We are forced to give up the ability to touch, to feel, and to interact, and to live all that vicariously through you. We were also forced to give up the longevity of our memories. We can recall things, but only through the dreaming, which means that it comes to us in haze. I have 1,000 or more years of experiences now. Were I to be a quarry, every time my host would pass and I would go on to the next, all that would return to the dreaming, and it would only be a hazy memory for me, something to call on to gain knowledge from my host. He looks at Val and he says, there is power enough in this universe to restore the Quarry. And he looks at you, but it may cost the Kalishtar everything. If the dark dreaming cannot find us here, this may finally be a place that is safe for the Quarry to be the Quarry once more.
That would be wonderful.
It's like, he kind of looks at you. The figure kind of tilts its head. You can't even make out its facial expressions. And in your head you hear, it would be wonderful for the Quarry. It may be the end for the
Kalishtar would
Kalishtar.
die.
And the figure's head nods. I present you with this knowledge, not in hopes that you will utilize it, but because there is a threat coming that threatens us all. He says, the Mist Mother has lost her hold. She can no longer hold back all those elemental and other planes of existence that she has so long held at bay. Because she herself is no longer in control of her own faculties. The Dark Mother, if my conjecture is correct, is another aspect of the Mist Mother. But it is also a sundering of her initial powers. She was one being up till now.
Oh no.
Now she is two. And who knows how many more may break apart because of this. And with each breaking, a reduction in her overall power as it divides out amongst the new entities. Already she can no longer hold back the other planes, which means the devils and demons who have been itching to get at the mortals here now have access. The Feywild and all their wantonness now has access to mortals to indulge with it. And all of them are looking for one thing in particular: access to the creature that cut them off.
To what end?
I can't tell you. To lock her away so she cannot bar them once again from entry? Or to kill her outright. And who knows what type of effect that would have on this world. And this is multiple factions. The elemental planes now have access here. The Feywild has access here. The Shadow Plane has access here now. The Nine Hells of the Abyss. All these planes that normally have access to the Prime Material Plane for both followers and for sacrifices and for just plain bringing chaos, as most of them are wont to do. All these planes now have access here. And not just to Ayla, and not just to Altras, to the Miss Mother, to her inner being, the thing that she has held safe for us for all these thousands of years. The safety of the womb is gone. Right now it's just cracking and letting things through. But if she continues to degrade, it will soon collapse.
Oh, the hell's bells.
The two aspects that are existing must be either taught to act as one or reunited.
Well, that's certainly,
I hope you know how to put a god through therapy.
With all due respect, I couldn't convince my parents to go to therapy.
Same.
I don't know how I'm going to fare against a god, but I
Remember,
will try.
it's not just you. And right then, that's when Lady Trask opens the door to the office, and you are firmly booted out.
Ah!
You're back to
Grandpa
yourself.
pukes.
Grandpa
my,
pukes.
I rolled a 9 on a con.
I saw it. I saw it.
oh my god.
Yeah, you have your. I don't know if you've had them before as Grandpa, but you have your first real migraine, and it is
I've
that.
went through many personally.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I don't have to describe it. Then you know what type of pain
no.
you're in.
That's some shit, yeah.
Um,
I fall, like, flat on my ass.
Oh, I'm gonna go and help you up.
You see on the desk there is a large crystal that is glowing with an incredibly bright inner light. Lord Trask kind of walks around the desk. It's in his metal stand that stands up in. He kind of picks it up and he goes, and there is what looks to be a tabernacle on a shelf behind his desk, and he takes the crystal and he puts it in the tabernacle, and as he closes it, you still felt the residual contact with the mind, but as he closes the doors, the mind is like, it's like a blade cutting through an ethereal cord. It's gone.
Ah!
Are you okay? What happened?
The Twitch. I look at Lord Trask, like almost as if I'm like, and I give him this look as if I'm asking, do I tell them?
He kind of looks around and he looks at his wife and he says, it's everything we feared. And she kind of like,
What does that mean?
she gets pale and she says, then it may be beyond time that family secrets are no longer secret. Let's go back to the table. I think that our
You have
guests...
those two? Did they tell you? That must be nice.
Yeah. I will lean on Utopia as we go back to the table. Oh boy!
As you go back to the table, the first thing you notice is Grandpa is like heavily leaning on the table with his hands on his head. And there's the attendant, the servants are attempting to clean up a very large mess. And that's when you remember you were mentally linked to Grandpa when that thing connected to you.
Oh shit, Grandpa, are you all right?
no.
Same.
So
And I will let Utopia bring me back to my seat, and I will just kind of sit there with this like shocked blank expression on my face, and then I will like suddenly like, and I'll poke at my cord. Hal, you there?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not as there as I was a minute ago, but I'm here.
still freaking out about that too. Like we'll talk some more about that because that was a whole thing. How are you feeling?
Oddly energized and invigorated.
I'm glad. I'm very glad. I'm so glad for you. That is brilliant and amazing. I have so many questions that the majority of them. Well, no, I guess I don't have so many questions as they answered so many questions. And like as I'm having this mental conversation, like you just see me just.
He's broken.
I think he's broken. Leonin goes to his seat, and his wife goes back to her seat. And Leonin kind of sits at the table and he says, Val is... may I tell everyone?
Yes, of course. They know
He kind of looks at Marissa and Barish. Says, Val is a member of the race that my family originated from, the Kalishtar. And Barish kind of looks at his lord and says, so this is good news. You found others. He's like, can they help? And Leonin kind of looks around the table and he says, Marissa, he says, it is both what we feared and what we expected. And she says, then it is beyond my abilities, my lord. He says, if this was not done with magics, then I don't know what my magics can do to help restore you. She says, I can talk to your Kalishtar, and I can help it and guide it. Not that I need to. But I cannot relink it to you, because it is not you. Maybe if I had been there when it first happened, I could link the spirit back to the body. But since the severing, there have been many spirits that have inhabited many bodies, but the quarry has stood alone. And it is now a being that I don't think can be limited to joining with a single mortal soul.
And I will say out loud, it's huge. It's so big. So I don't think I've ever experienced anything quite like that. Was I don't have words for that.
Painful.
There was also that. Yes, there was pain initially, a lot of pain. But
it does not have experience making connections with anyone other than Lord Trask and occasionally, rarely, myself. But I have discovered that Lord Trask's connection is very different. And she says, she kind of looks down and she says, I'm 31. I've made contact with it 7 times. And each time, I think I have aged at least 1 to 2 years.
Well, you look fantastic.
And she says, it is taxing. The knowledge it possesses is boundless. And she kind of looks at Leonin and she says, and I'm sorry, Lord Trask, but trying to filter that through a single soul like yours, it cannot use us anymore the way that the quarry originally intended. It is... I think that's why the quarry divided themselves the way they did, over multiple people and into bloodlines and family lines. Because it is impossible for one quarry to be bound to one human soul. The quarry are boundless and ageless.
So what you're saying is that there's other pieces of my quarry scattered throughout my bloodline?
And she kind of nods. Yes. This is what happens when one of those slivers is allowed to live its natural lifespan and expand its experiences and knowledge, even though trapped inside that crystal.
And I'll turn to Groundhog. You know that voice in my head, the other one?
There were 5 of them at one point, Val.
The lady. The lady voice in my head.
The normal one.
The normal voice. Yes.
Okay.
In your head, I think I'm
But
quite
the other
outstanding, but yeah.
Yeah, and in my head go, I absolutely agree. You are magnificent. But outside of that, I will say, Lord Trask is like me, except his quarry is outside. And lives in a crystal. And is ancient.
You are just confusing me.
I would attempt to mind link you and show you, but I'm not gonna put you through that again.
My head already hurts.
I know. So I'm
Lord
sorry
Trask,
about that.
Leonin says, and I would attempt to introduce you, but, and he kind of gestures to Marissa, anyone who is not Kalishtar does not do well with a direct connection.
No kidding.
Yours was even more indirect than his. And he nods to Val. Yours was like listening to the door as a fireball is being cast inside a 10 by 10 room.
It was so bright.
Yeah. It was huge. And bright. I couldn't make out any features. I couldn't see a face. Just this bright form made entirely of light. It was fantastic and frightening at the same time.
Most powerful spirits are.
This was the most powerful spirit I think I've ever seen.
His voice still resonates within my ears.
And mine.
So, side note, did Lord Trask actually know that I was linked with Val?
Nope, not at all.
No.
He just he literally is sitting beside you, and he's kind of looking at both of you, and he's, once he discovered that Val was Kalishtar, because Kalishtar look like everybody else, every human. They are just human. Sometimes they're a little more charismatic, but they're just human. So they look like any other human. There's nothing to distinguish them as being Kalishtar. So, or
Yeah, you got it right.
yeah, I was gonna say
They're essentially humans that are bound to something from the dream plane.
yeah.
That is how Kalishtar are made, so they are human.
And the quarry that
Or-
they're
or-
talking about, these were spirits of immense power, and they were creatures from the deep dream of immense power, and they literally couldn't bind themselves to just one person. It was too much, so they broke themselves up and divided themselves up amongst a bunch of people, and so that is how the Kalishtar became into being. But because that they've been bound for so long to them as a race, they are now literally as much biologically as they are psychically attached to these people. And if you separate a quarry from a Kalishtar, if the quarry has somewhere to go, it could possibly survive, but the Kalishtar will not.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No problem.
Continue.
No, I'm done. That is all. So, you guys sitting there, and Lord Trask is sitting at the head of the table again, and he kind of looks up and he says, "What we know for now is that the cult of the Dark Mother, the Night Mother, sorry, the cult of the Night Mother has been growing, and we have welcomed them into the city. They do not. Excuse me?
I was saying Milagros fan noise.
Oh, but yeah, the Night Mother, the cult of the Night Mother has been growing and has become a very influential portion for the refugees. And we now know that we now have a stronger understanding of who and what they are when it comes in relationship to the Miss Mother herself. And we are looking at this as an opportunity to perhaps make contact with the Night Mother. But we have something else to discuss with you. As you know, and you may have heard, a lot of the refugees were attacked. It's the main reason they fled here to Trask. And these attacks have been very specific. And we fear that there is a threat that may have come through and not gone to Ayla, as most of these seem to be doing right now, at least here. There is something in the Darkwood. And it's been the main goal, other than sowing chaos, seems to be abducting children. And if this is not stopped, then I have fear that this may further the unrest that is already happening with the refugees. We are going to be doing more to help to get them ready for winter, as you have suggested. And with what you've done to help us establish better relationships, just by if you would help us start the task of building and claiming lumber and getting things prepared, then we could hopefully keep them on task with that and focused on preparing themselves for winter. But all that being said, we need to make sure that we have the main cause of their unrest, which is the attacks, settled. We have sent 2 separate groups of soldiers to investigate the Darkwood. One was strictly tasked with assessing the growth of the wood itself, because we know that it's expanded. That group came back to report that the woods have expanded exponentially. They have grown by miles and miles in a matter of months and taken up most of the valley. The edge of the dark wood is now less than a day's walk from your father's lodge, or your lodge, when before it used to be several days till you even got near it. And that there are many dark and twisted creatures that now make that wood home. The troop that we sent to assess the exterior of the wood ran into a troll, and they lost a great number of their members before they were able to put it down.
We fought a good complement of these trolls ourselves when we first arrived here.
We think that the trolls are nothing more than lackeys for whatever is there. There is a method to the attacks. There is a method to the excursions that come out of the woods. They are never wasteful. They are never extravagant. They are clear and precise. They have set goals. But it has to be something that's strong enough to intimidate these beasts to doing its bidding. I don't think that I could send my men to look for this and have hopes of them being able to defeat it. But I think that you, as a group of experienced adventurers, may have a chance. The second group of men I sent in was tasked with trying to reconnaissance the interior. They were sent out 2 weeks ago, and they never returned. There is still a road that goes into the dark wood, because there was a road that went up to its original edge. They were only sent to reconnoiter the road itself and come back. It was like, I would like for you to go into the wood and put down whatever is the dark and malevolent influence therein. It's like, I will reward you, of course, by providing housing for any of your people and making them citizens of the city of Trask, giving them gainful employment if they so choose, and making sure that they are taken care of. They will have respite here and shelter here for as long as Crass walls stand. He says, and you yourselves will be rewarded with whatever we can give you that would be even of equal value to this task we're asking of you. I have no idea what could be the same value as keeping my people safe.
How many guards can you spare?
Says, what is the task? If you're asking me how many guards can I spare to help you go into the woods, none.
No, we mentioned helping the refugees and helping the city more. And I know you were worried about harvesting the farmland because it's near the forest. But once we leave for the forest, if you can spare a small contingent of the guards, I will ask the refugees if you want to go harvest that while we are getting a bit.
No, we would, if the refugees are willing to work to do this, to help us build these enclosures and capture this food for the winter, there would be absolutely guards sent with them. That would not even be questioned. Going to the edge of the woods now is dangerous, not just the Darkwood. There are creatures that are roaming throughout the land. He says, and the Lady Trask kind of sits forward. She says, we have small ranches here that provide us with beef stock. They have been some of the hardest hit. And we are losing our ability to be able to survive this coming winter. And we are cut off from trade. She kind of gestures over her head. We haven't seen an airship in a week.
I have a question of these hills.
Yes.
Forgive my brain for not working well. But do you have hogs that run these hills?
Yes, we have the rudders and we have the boars. He says they're always out there. They're always getting into people's gardens. We have a bounty of a copper an ear because they're such a nuisance. He says, but even they have gone to ground because there is something hunting the woods. And we do have when we see ranchers, we have cattle ranchers, we have hog ranchers, we have several different ranches out there. I mean, we only have around 800-900 people that live here normally. With the refugees, we have another 300 or 400. And she says, but there's normally, even with that many number, normal production can keep us adequately supplied to where we only have to order luxuries and occasional staples such as grain that we bargain with other cities to supply us. This is making that impossible because the overland route takes weeks, and the only way to get here and is no longer safe by any means. And the airships took days to do the overland route in weeks. But like I said, we haven't seen any in a week. And she says, and there is a local airship master here, and he has not been back in weeks either.
My thought was seed corn. If you lay out the seed, the hogs will eventually come to it. because they will be looking for food. You do this multiple times and you slowly lead them to a place where you can harvest them safely. It is an old trick that we used to use when we needed to set up new farmlands and get new hogs.
She says, we definitely have our people who are gifted at foraging, and we have our people that make sure that we get as much as we can out of the local wilds. And she says the only issue, once again, is it's becoming more dangerous. And for people who go out and do things like trap hog and stuff like that, having a large party of people with you to protect you while you're trying to do this is not exactly the easiest thing to make your presence unknown while you're trying to forage like that. But no, I understand exactly your point. And that is, is yet another way we can try and supplement what stores we have. It's just the fact that we have so many more people. And it's not to say that we can't take care of them. It's to say that it is very concerning to have all these situations come up and not have our larders completely full as they normally would be this time of year.
I may or may not be able to help in that regard, Trask.
He perks up, because that was his wife talking, sorry. And he perks up and he says, if you have a method of helping us alleviate that burden on our peoples, let us, please. We would love to hear it.
I had a connection to someone within Ayla. I don't know if they are still alive, but if they are, I may have a way of summoning them and getting a better idea of what's happening there, as well as perhaps providing supplies, if they have any available, to the city.
Well, yes. How long would it take you to summon them? What would you need?
I would need to beg your forgiveness because this is going to be a bit weird. And I will stand and I will start to unbutton my shirt. And I will stick my hand in my shirt and I will touch the tattoo under my arm.
What? There is that momentary rush of wind that circles on the floor just a little bit away from the table. And there is a soft... This time there's a soft jangling, almost like of crystal wind chimes. And laying on the floor...
Oh, man.
Beside you, mostly naked, is... oh my god, I forgot his name.
Marcus?
Marcus. I was going to say Malcolm. Marcus. And he's laying there, and he looks like he is kissing air.
Oh. Yeah, Utopia's gonna cover Camille's eyes.
Camille's going to pull your hand down.
I'm going to take my jacket and I'm going to cover his naked body. Oh god, I'm sorry. I had no idea.
Why is my bed so cold and hard?
Because you're no longer in your bed, Marcus.
Yeah, I just wanted to point that out to someone other than me.
Yep. Sorry. Firstly, hi. Really glad to see that you survived.
He kind of rolls over and he is missing his left eye.
Really sorry about your eye, though.
Says, normally I'd put a patch on, but I have what I was wearing because some dumbass who I'm going to go back and stab set that spell up to summon me as is. And doesn't let me know when I'm being summoned. But anyway.
That would be nice if you had a choice. That would be.
A servant comes running out of the back, and they have just a big sheet that they probably pulled out of the laundry room, and they drape it over him. He kind of stands up and wraps himself up in it.
I take my jacket back.
He's like, number one, cold floor, cold feet. Slippers, please. And the servant goes and runs off. And he turns around and he looks around and he says, all right, so where are we?
Marcus, Lord Trask.
He turns and looks and he's like, and Lord Trask looks at Marcus and he says, and he kind of has a confused look in his face and he says, Marcus? And he goes like, Lord Trask. We're in Trask.
We are in Trask.
How did you get out of Ayla? And where did you go?
We
Fucking magic.
here.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, magical well led to a hunting lodge outside of the city in a matter of minutes. Really weird magic.
Is it still there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
Ayla fucking completely fell. Like off the cliff.
Oh.
The majority of the fingers are gone.
So when I summoned you, where were you?
On a boat? Remember?
Yes,
Yeah.
you were. Yeah. Well, last I knew, you were heading
No,
toward.
I understand. We went and we assailed the college. We could not even get close.
Shit.
There is an army of demons and devils on the grounds. An army. Thousands.
Kind of
And
glad.
I know that I know
you're
your
with you.
and he looks and Lady Astor, I know your estate is on the palm, yes?
Yes?
The palm is still intact, so if your estate is still attacked, then they find it and they find a way to utilize it, they can come through it. And they can come here.
They have to get the water.
That's not a problem for some of them. I mean, remember, some of them can use powerful magic.
That's true.
He says, the only thing we managed to do is alert them to our presence. We fought our way back out. The majority of my men died. We couldn't get near Mistress Foresight. But since the college was on the fingers, we're hoping that our last-ditch effort may have helped release her.
Last-ditch effort.
We blew off all the fingers.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
The majority of the excursions were concentrated there. The last bastions of armed survivors were there. We tried to get out as much warning as we could. But that army was forming there.
Hells.
And we had to destroy it. Which means the fish docks are also gone because they are below the fingers.
Oh, there goes that plan.
It's like most of Ayla is gone. Those who are still alive inside of Ayla, we basically blew up the hornet's nest, but we can't guarantee we got all the hornets.
Hell.
They were coming through faster than we could even have expected.
That.
Where are you heading?
We're heading to the archipelagos. We are abandoning the entire continent. And as I explained the map, in the northern portion of the northern hemisphere, there is the northern reaches, the Great Northern Reaches, which are the mountain chain that covers basically the northern pole. There's not actually a north pole because there's no direct concentration of sunlight to keep things warmer. So there's ambient energy from the mist cloud, the dust cloud itself, that heats the planets mostly. So there's no poles, there's no ice caps, because the heat is general and all around. Yes, sir.
Okay, poles are magnetic,
Yes.
not due to ice caps.
But the freezing of the poles is due to the fact that the sun does not directly hit the poles, so the
But
temperature
that
is...
has nothing to do with whether there's a pole or not.
Sorry, you're right. I shouldn't say poles. The ice caps that would normally be present on a polar location due to its orientation to the sun,
Period.
and its heating, its
Sorry.
general heating and cooling,
No,
are
don't be
not
sorry.
present. Are not present. So in the southern hemisphere, is mainly an ocean. As I told you, and like I said, the creatures of the ocean are not members of the council and not represented by the council, even though there is multiple intelligent species that live below the surface of the water. But there is a bunch of archipelago islands that form up the general landmass of the southern hemisphere, and they are concentrated around the polar region of the south. And the archipelagos have their own independent nation. They have their own. There's several nations. They have their own independent governments, and they do not take kindly to people who come from the mainland.
Well, shit.
He says, "I worked out a deal ahead of time. I bought us safe passage. I bought us an island." He says, "And we're going to become island folk because the world is going to hell." He's like, "I have called back our airships, and they will be meeting us there."
That is good.
It's like, "Are you cashing in your favor?"
I'm hoping to. Yes.
Oh, well, what is your need?
Well, you've already very freely given me the first part of that, which is an update on the situation in Ayla, so thank you for that.
You see that everyone else at the table is like, they're in various states of shock of hearing how nonchalantly he basically said that everyone in Ayla is fucking dead.
Yeah. Secondly, help and aid. There are a great number of refugees from Ayla that have settled here. I ask for any food, grain, medicines, aid that you can spare.
We have what's on this ship and what's coming on the airships. He says, when we get to the archipelago, I guarantee that we're going to need items that only Lord Trask people can provide. He says it would be a long trip because we're going from pole to pole. He says, but we could send airships to trade. Once we get there, we're going to need real lumber, not these soft-ass palm trees, to construct real durable housing with. And stone. We're not going to have really any stonework to work with out here.
Right.
Sorry, side note. When we were coming in, was the road like pebbled or like rocks, like small rocks around the outside of where we're at?
Oh, like where you rode up as you rolled up to the actual
To the manor?
Yeah, like
manor?
as we
Yeah, sure,
like,
sure.
Not far. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Cobbles break all the time. You know what I mean?
yeah, I'm gonna go outside real quick, like just excuse myself from the table and walk outside. And I'm looking for 2 stones about equal size, about yay.
Okay. It doesn't take you long to find them. Like I said, cobbles break all the time, and since cobbles are kind of uniform in size, they kind of break off into semi-uniform chunks, so it doesn't take you long to find them.
Glorious. So when I come back, still dazed, and like I walk up to Marcus, and you looked a lot better with your other eye, but you are good with the magic and the summoning, right?
Not myself. I know a little, but I have access to it, yes.
Not so much summoning, but you are good with magic, and but we seem to call you at the worst possible times.
Yeah, I'm sorry
Yeah,
about that.
I have seen people use stones to communicate with one another.
Sending
This
stones.
way, I do not know
difficult, but okay. So, we may at least make sure you are not incapacitated when we summon you next.
He says, I understand, and I think that would be very wise. He says, he kind of looks at you, Val, and he says, Valestine Oka, are you asking for the Emerald to enter into trade agreements with Trask in order to provide mutually beneficial materials back and forth, foods and the like, in trade for stone, lumber, and building materials, in order to utilize this as your boon?
If the Lord and Lady Trask agree.
And Lord Trask says, the Emerald?
It's a very long story.
And Marcus kind of looks at Lord Trask and he says, Lord Trask? He goes, strange bedfellows, I suppose. He says,
to put your mind at ease, my lord. We are not members of the Emerald, but we have entered into friendly relations with them.
And kind of Marcus is kind of like togeing up his sheet, and he says, since I'll be here for a bit, and he kind of looks around and he says, yes, they turned us down flat when we tried to recruit them. Next time we'll use extortion.
I really hope you don't. I really like you, Marcus. I really don't. I really
kind of ended.
Okay, so the world ends, but you know, if I don't have crime, what do I have?
Love.
Grandpa,
we
I have money. I don't need love.
Grandpa's gonna hand him a hunk of bread from the table. You have food,
He's like,
and then go sit down.
I have money. I have get food whenever I want. Oh, and I have power too. I never said I was a good person.
That's true, but I hope to use your influence for good whenever possible. I can.
If it makes me a profit, I am very happy to listen. And I think this could be... And he looks at Lord Trask, and I think this could be very profitable. And he's like, and I don't care if it's above boards. He says, the world's gone to chaos. He says, and he kind of looks around at all the rest of you, and he says, and these folks tried to stand against it. And no matter what, I can respect wanting to thumb your nose at the universe when it's trying to beat you down. He says,
Marcus, I do believe that's the nicest thing you ever said to me.
it's like, I said things about your butt, but you weren't present.
Ah. And I look at my ass. Thank you. I was like, hi.
He's like Gaines. Anyway, he says he says, but all that aside, and as much as flirting is fun, he says, let's go ahead and Lord Trask, do I have your permission to enter negotiations with you on behalf of the Emerald? And Lord Trask kind of looks around at all of you and he says, well, since it's openly being discussed that we're talking to members of a crime syndicate, and it says, I don't suppose the fact that there is no law left in the world means anything. He kind of looks at Marcus and says, but in Trask, there is still law. He's like, if we enter any negotiations, I will not have any members of the Emerald, aside from yourself, and only yourself, with no liaisons, with no attaché, and with no guard, can come into my city. You will not bring an entourage. You will not bring anyone who can disappear and get lost in my city. And Marcus kind of puts his hand on his chest and he says, I'm deeply hurt. If we're going to enter into negotiations in fair and earnest, then I will abide by whatever rules and stipulations you set. He's like, we are a criminal organization, but above all, we are an organization that is designed on making profit. He says, and right now, we are operating at a great loss. He says, money is worthless. Power is the only commodity in the world right now. I own 2 airships, possibly a third if today goes well. He says, and I own 1 very large man-o-war with cannon. He says, I can make safe trips back and forth between the archipelagos. He says, I have an experienced cruise, I have an experienced captain. He says, we can find another port to put into since Ayla's gone. He says, and we can establish trade between our foundering little nation in the south and your established residents here in the north. He says, and if you have people who wish to work, the Emerald is also looking for manpower. Not as many of us made it out of Ayla as I would like.
I'm sorry to hear that. Truly.
I didn't know they had it in them, but I had men fighting on the docks to buy people more time to get on the boat. Remember my friend?
No.
He threw himself into a horde of demons as they were coming up the gangplank so that we can make way.
Marcus, I'm truly sorry.
He turned out to be a good man, and that was his undoing, wasn't it? This is... But, looks like we have business here. I am going to... Now that I've been here, I'm going to unsummon myself. It says, if you agree to this being the binding act of the pact, Val, you will be released.
I will turn to Lord and Lady Trask, so we are at an accord then.
It's like, I think that this is something that we have to do, even if we didn't want to do it. Is also, I understand that this is costing you something, so we need to talk. But yes, we are in agreement.
Then I will turn to Marcus, and I will nod. This will be my boon.
It says, in that case, that ends our pact, and you feel a burning on your ribs.
God! Oh! By the light!
Hey, you didn't warn me first.
Ah!
Sorry, Dad.
It's like, I'm taking the
Don't
sheet
forget
with me.
about those stones before you leave.
I will be back in a matter of hours once I have cleaned up, freshened up, and I have ascending stones created. I think I might actually have some somewhere, but I don't really like them that much. But anyway, once we have ascending stones created, we will bring them back, so having an established means of communication back and forth, and we will begin... I will bring myself back here, Lord Trask, if that is permissible, within, let's say, 2 hours. And Trask kind of looks at him and says, only yourself. And he says, my word is my bond, and the contract that I'll be bringing with me. But yes, I will be the only one in attendance. Lord Trask says, very well. Once your presence is brought here, I would ask that all our arrangements and negotiations be held in the oubliette. And Marcus kind of says, the place where you put people you want to forget about? And Lord Trask raises an eyebrow. He's like, not that many people understand the meaning of the word. But yes, it is also a secure building where we can make sure that everything is recorded properly and there are no influences being used on either party. And he kind of like, Marcus kind of shrugs and he says, it is your home, it is your place. He says, I will do as you wish. And Marcus says, everyone please have a very good rest of your meal. I will see you all in a few hours. And there is another whoosh of wind and the crystal chime sound, and Marcus is gone. And actually, I didn't realize it had gotten so freaking late.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we should wrap up here, guys.
Indeed.
Thank you so much for everything, everybody. It was a great game.
Holy moly.
Yeah, it was good.
Holy
My
moly.
brain hurts.
Huh?
I said my brain hurts.
My brain
Let's
hurts.
see how many words.
Fuck.
Let's see how many words.
Get it.
Okay. Okay, so right now I'm at 9384. Dang! At least 4,000.
Nice.
At least 4,000. It goes to 4,000, ladies and gentlemen. I talked that much? Really?
Yeah? Oh, you talked a lot, and I didn't even get all of it word for word.
That's saying something like that.
Yeah.
Fucked.
Yeah.
I am sorry I over talked it.
No,
you're good.
that was fantastic.
That was awesome.
I'm glad you liked it. This is exactly where I wanted us to be around this point. Oh! One more thing. One real quick thing. Small little thing. Tiny little thing. Mini little thing. Level 7.
We are level 7.
Level
Oh, I
8.
thought you're level 6.
Oh, nope. We're level 8.
Level 8.
Level 8?
Oh, that means.
You can't take it back.
Can't take it back.
No
Can't take
takesies,
it back.
backsies.
No takesies, backsies. Oh, ADH Adventures is on. Do we want to raid?
Yeah.
Yes, we shall raid them. Alright, so, ladies and gentlemen, remember, please, to make sure you take care of yourself. Wear a mask when you can. Stay 6 feet away from everyone, because people are bad. And do remember that if you can follow us on TikTok, we have this giveaway going right now. This giveaway is for a 3D printed tower, multi-stories tall, and it is amazing, and it will be yours if you follow us on TikTok and you win the drawing we're do on TikTok, and that is going to be for when we hit 1,000 followers. I'm checking how many followers we have right now, plus I'm actually getting our link for that because I didn't have it in chat. We're at 809 followers as of now, and if you follow us right here, you can go ahead and be entered in that drawing just by being a follower on TikTok. We'll be giving that away as soon as we hit 1K followers. And again, and all this breaks down. Even the floor breaks down into 4 pieces. So even that big round floor is not one piece; it's 4 pieces. So it all breaks down. You can put it away in a box and store it. I actually had it in a big freezer bag for a little while, unassembled. So it fits. It's cool. But anyway, follow us on TikTok for that. Also, other than the tower, if you follow us here on Twitch, you're automatically entered for this one. But we're giving away this book set. This is the D&D core book set with the Player's Guide, the Monsters Manual, the DMG, and the GM screen. We are going to give that away when we hit 1,000 followers on TikTok. Or Twitch, I'm sorry. Different contest. And we're at 603 followers on Twitch. Now, I do keep forgetting to say this next part. We are also going to give this away when we hit 100 followers on YouTube. The main reason for that is we are trying to get to 100 followers on YouTube desperately so we can get our YouTube channel branded, which means it'll be Dinner and a Game, not this ugly mess that you're about to see right now. It'll say, instead of saying all that channel / gobbledygook, it'll say channel / Dag Show or Dinner and a Game or whatever we get. But that is something we're trying to achieve, and for that we will be giving away another set of those books to everyone who is in the first 100 followers on YouTube. That will get us where we can get branded. That's what we want to get to, so do give us a follow on YouTube. We'll be giving another one of these box sets away for that. All that, and I do talk very fast, all that being said, thank you everyone for being here tonight. I really had a great time. I actually got to take a 1-hour nap before we started the show, and it made a hell of a lot of difference. I feel great. I feel amazing. I feel like I could go for another 5 to 10 hours, but people have to go to work tomorrow, and so do I. So we're going to go over and we're going to raid ADH Adventures because they're amazing too, and we want you to share the love with them. When we raid them, be sure to let them know that Dinner and a Game sent you. and that we and if you have not followed ADH Adventures, Sphinx is on a show over there, 2 shows over there, right?
2 shows.
2 shows over there, and he is can tell you more. He's actually on the panel and everything for ADH Adventures, so he can tell you more about what their shows do. But they are incredible creators. They have great storylines. I spend my Saturdays watching Sphinx on there, and it is a good show, good group of people, and they are amazing. And make sure you tell them that you appreciate them, because that's all us small creators want. We just want to let you to let us know that you enjoy what we do, and the way you do that is by following us. If you want to subscribe, we appreciate it. It's not necessary, but follow us, let us know you care, and let them know that you appreciate them just for being out here and creating content for you guys. At Dinner Game, we always save you a seat at the table. Stay safe. Come back and join us again in a week. We love you guys. Have a very good night. And, oh, shoot.
Good night.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, don't you know? I'm singing because I forgot to hit the raid button, and now I'm waiting the 10 seconds. But we're going now. We're going. We love you. Bye-bye. And we raided.
So I have superiority die now.
I have meta magic now.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I get anything.
Oh, yeah, you do.
If you hit 8, you get an ability score or a feat improvement